What's that?
Do you want to lead off? Or?
You good. I was just going to have a little couple follow-ups anyways, or whatever.
Good.
Oh, wait, a little bit more.
There you go. Thanks for the help. Frame it up. All right, man. Talk to us about the last couple months, or the last couple weeks, I guess. Been a kind of a whirlwind for you. We've seen you all over the place with the belt, UFC 316.
Yeah.
What's it been like being in the limelight after the launch of BJJ?
Man, it's been really good. I haven't got to take like a rest season in a very long time. I've been like in camp since like December, because I had like a match, a super fight, and then I did the reality show, and then I won the main event, and then now I'm doing this. So I've just been like camp to camp to camp to camp for like a long time, and it's honestly like really draining and tiring. But I am so glad that I get to like drain myself and tire myself towards something that's so cool. Like before, I'd be like draining myself and tiring myself for like $500,000, and I'd be spending money, and I'd be flying out. Like, so this is it just motivates me so much more. Like knowing that I'm competing for a platform, competing for so much viewership, competing for like a paycheck. Like it just makes it easy. The life has changed a lot since winning the belt. I've gotten like people recognizing me in like HEB, Walmart, like gas stations, like at the gym. Like I'll be driving. I had someone recognize me driving at a stoplight, and I'm just like, oh crap. So it's pretty freaking cool. I can't lie.
So you've been doing this for a long time. You just talked about being in the limelight and all of that. How have you kept the focus and been in training? Because this is a new kind of avenue with all the media obligations, like you said, the reality show.
I would say like how I kept the focus like through like training and everything is just like trying to just keep good people around me. You know, I get pretty prideful, and I get pretty big-headed easily, and then that would of course like affect everything like moving forward. But I keep myself surrounded by like really close friends, like a really good people. So they're constantly checking me, like, hey Andrew, don't get prideful from this. Hey Andrew, don't let this go to your head. Like keep working hard. Like you haven't changed at all. Like you shouldn't get prideful. Like you're just getting rewards off your labor. Like I've been doing this my whole life. I've been training my whole life. I've been competing my whole life. I've been waking up early, going to bed early, eating right my whole life. Like nothing's changed, but just the publicity and the opportunities have changed. So there's no reason I should change. So that's kind of like how I'm going about it.
You mentioned close friends that you have around. I know your brother's on this card. Who are the people, other than your coaches, I guess, that kind of help keep you grounded?
Yeah, I mean, there's a long list. Like Rodrigo Cabral, my coach back home. Davis Cole, one of my lifelong friends and original kid instructor coach. Cody Steele, great friend of mine. My brother William, my little brother Caleb, my parents, my mom and my dad. My grandparents even, man, they'll just be constantly texting me cool stuff all the time. And then I have like a close net group of friends like in church as well. I go to like small groups, and like I have a bunch of really good friends back home, like the Brints. Like they're constantly checking me and sending me stuff and helping me out. So it's on me to listen though, you know, like I have so many people around me like having my best interests in mind. It's on me to like actually listen to them and actually like take a humble stance, and as long as I do that, I'll be good. Hopefully.
Just a couple more from me. Obviously, you're in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, training with Merab, a world champion in the UFC. Can you talk about what it was like training with Merab?
Very cool. I've trained with Merab probably like 4 or 5 times now, and I respect him so much. Like, you know, I go in there to train with him with like so much respect for him, and I'm sure it's vice versa as well. And the man is an absolute beast. Like as soon as he learns how to like not let me take his back or not let me do like the weird jiu-jitsu stuff on him, like I'll have no chance, to be honest. Like his pressure and his pace is like even greater than mine, and like his relentlessness and his mindset is just like crazy. So I'm looking forward to like moving out here and train with all the dudes at Syndicate and train with all the dudes like at the PI, and just like bettering, like helping like better the sport of MMA in like a technical region as far in jiu-jitsu, and then looking to like let them like toughen me up and better me as well. So really looking to like iron sharpens iron mentality, out here in Vegas. And so I'm very excited. It's been great.
Training at Syndicate with a guy like Marab, obviously. There's some good strikers in that gym as well. Have you been working on other aspects of combat sports?
Yeah, I've trained striking. Like when I was a kid, I did like Muay Thai for like a couple of years, and then I did like a year of like MMA training. And then I got like super locked into jiu-jitsu because I like started seeing myself get way better and the opportunities were going up. And I was like, oh, let's just go full send on jiu-jitsu. And then, I don't have a passion to like transfer over to MMA, but I love striking. Like I absolutely love it. Like when we move down here, I'll at least be probably training twice a week in like an MMA striking class. And just getting like my hands better just so I know what works in MMA and I know what to teach the MMA athletes and I can like help them out versus me just showing them a jiu-jitsu move and like, yeah, that would never work, because I could just punch you in the face, or that would never work because we're not wearing a rash guard, we're slippery as crap. And like a lot of things in MMA, you can like hook the glove. So like a lot of things in MMA, the jiu-jitsu is actually sometimes better because their glove gets trapped. But a lot of times it's a lot harder because your glove can't get in or it can't get out. So it's cool, like training MMA for me because it's a completely like new learning experience. It's like a new experience. Like every time I go and train jiu-jitsu, it's like I've done this a million times. And like for me, every time I go and train wrestling, it's more of a new experience for me, or judo. So like training MMA is just like new fun. Maybe a couple years down the line, if I am super successful and everything goes as planned, and I just kind of get maybe a little bored of jiu-jitsu, then I'll do the jump over to like re-challenge myself. But that's too far ahead to speak.
Last one for me. Big match coming up on tomorrow. Sorry.
Yeah.
Local legend kind of.
Yeah.
Renato.
So good.
Can you just talk about that match and
Yeah.
how you've prepared for an opponent like that?
Yeah, I've watched Renato since I was like 12. I remember going to ADCC, like the 2018 ADCC, and I was like 15, and I was watching him like scrapping there, like scrapping with like Gary Tunnan and like a bunch of different like good people, and I was like, dang, I was like, that guy's so exciting. I never thought I'd compete against him when I was then, but I remember we were on like a organization, like a super fight organization, and the promoter of the organization, Rich, he asked me, he was like, hey, Andrew, would you ever have a fight with Renato? And I was like 15 at the time. I was like, 100%, yeah. And Renato like looked at me, he was like, what's this little crap talking about? Like, yeah, I was so young. But the fact that I get to like compete against someone like Canuto that has been in the game so long, and he's still only, I think he's 29, 30, so he's still not old at all. And so he's still even getting better. And so the fact that I get to compete against someone that's local to Vegas, like a local hero, like I go in the PI and everyone knows Renato. Like they're like, oh, you're fighting Renato? Dang, that's going to be a sick match. So I'm very thankful it was Renato. I know he's going to challenge me. I know I'm not going to get him out of there easy. Like I know I'm not going to get a quick sub unless I really earn it. And I know he's not going to get a quick sub unless he earns it. So we're going to have a dogfight. So I'm very excited for that fact alone, that Renato fights and won't stop and will go. So it's going to be sick.
Just a couple quick follow-ups. Renato, 7 years, you're elder. You're correct. He's 29 years old. He just stepped into the Tough Enough cage and fought his first MMA fight. Does that timeline sort of work for you? And maybe 7 years from now, you'll get that itch to maybe hop over into the MMA? You think you might make that jump before?
Shoot, man. If I'm still competing in 7 years, I did something wrong. I'm not gonna lie. I've just been, and I get your question, but I've been competing since I was like 6. Like consistently. Like I never really went through a season of my life where I did not compete consistently. Like I like fractured my back, I like broke my arm, like I've gotten some bad injuries, like I've hurt my back, hurt my neck, and it forced me to take like 6 months off of competing. But my whole life it's always been like get healthy, compete. So probably by like 27, 28, I'm just gonna be like so mentally like ready to just like retire. So I'd say if I did make the jump to MMA, I'm like early 20, just turned 22, like it would probably be like 25, like in that range. Like, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe if I get enough money and I'm like 28, then I'm like, ooh, we're motivated again, But
what does the next chapter of life look like? It seems if you're already sort of thinking of, you see the timeline when it might end. What does the next chapter look like? What are you passionate about? Yeah,
next chapter is just like, don't let anyone take my belt. Like work as hard as I can, make all of the sacrifices I need to make, like all of the sacrifices to make sure that I retain this title as long as I can, and I have a legacy that I leave behind, for the younger generation to look at, for following generations to look at. When I was younger, like watching champions, I didn't just look at one match. I looked at their whole career. And so that's what motivated me. So I want to make sure that I do as good as I can in this season of life, and I just don't let anyone take my title. And then I retire with the title, or I give it up, and then I move on. But I don't want anyone to take it from me, and I'm going to work as hard as I can for as long as it takes. But yeah.
No, that's great, but you move on, say you're 30 years old.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah.
what's after that?
Oh, yeah, like whatever opportunity comes my way. I'd love to be like a coach. I love to like coach people. I love to, work more of like a calm job, like maybe like in business with the UFC or something. Less like training, something that doesn't involve like beating up my body. But I love coaching. I love like being intimate with people, and I love like helping people out. So like I'm a people person. I love to serve people. So a coach or someone like that would be really cool down the lines. But yeah.
And last for me, just the difference of fighting or competing in the bowl as opposed to the typical jiu-jitsu scenarios, and tell the difference to maybe the fans of what that actually means.
Yeah, take it from me, guys. Take it from me. All the people watching. I've competed in so many different organizations, like all of them. I don't think there's one organization, except for like in a boxing ring. I've never done jiu-jitsu in a boxing ring. I've trained in a boxing ring, and it's kind of dope. But, man, it's just, there's nothing like it. For so many years, I have ran people out of bounds for just an advantage, and it sucks. It sucks, and it's just, it sucks because you fight people and they play the edge. They like expect for you to push them out of bounds, and you can't do that in the bowl. You just can't do it at all. Like the person that is on their heels is penalized because they're stuck against an awkward wall. Like even in MMA, like you get your back against the cage, like it sucks. Like you don't want to be there. But if you have good underhooks or good overhooks, you can like work from there, and you can like find rest. But like, man, you put yourself against the bull, like there's no rest. It sucks. So it really motivates me to be the aggressor, not to have my back against the bull, not to have my feet against the bull, just like be pushing forward, taking the center and pushing him against the bull. So it's perfect for me, and it's game changer for jiu-jitsu years to come. Like I'm sold on it. I love it.
Awesome. Thanks very much. Good luck in your match.
Thank you.
Andrew, I wanted to follow up on something you mentioned earlier, talking about, you're busy and you're constantly doing stuff for you. What are you trying to do to not only get your rest but stay fresh in the midst of all of this?
Yeah. I'm making sure that I'm hanging around chill people, like people that don't stress me out. Like I'm always hanging around like my close friends and like my small group net of people, like my small circle, just so I'm always relaxing when I'm around my friends, or I'm relaxing when I'm around people. After training, I have a pretty tight schedule. It's like wake up in the morning, eat breakfast, go to training, train, go recover, get food, go back and chill for like 2, 3, 4 hours, and then go to night training, recover after night training, maybe do some cardio too, and then go home. And my day's usually over by 6:37, and then I have like 2-3 hours to like chill before I go to bed. So as hard as I'm training, I only train like twice a day, but I have so much downtime to just chill. And that's really important to me, just like being able to chill, being able to wind down before bed. Because I know a lot of people, they'll like train until they'll like start their night class at like 7:30, and then they'll finish at like 9:30. And then it's like 10:15, 10:30, 11 before you even get to bed. I want to be like wound down, sitting on the couch like at like 8. Then I have like 2 hours before I even go to bed and fall asleep. So that's just really important to me, winding down and just being like in a peaceful spirit and like being chill when I need to be chill. And that helps me out a lot.
In this chapter in your life right now, you're in your early 20s, you're a UFC, BJJ champion.
Yeah.
What would you label this chapter in your life?
I label it the most epic chapter I've ever been in, for sure. I mean, it's like a legacy building chapter for me. It's like I've been building my career up for a while now, competing and trying to be the best and trying to beat people. But now it's like I'm in an organization. You don't have to like try to find my matches or through other organizations. It's all here, and it will all be here. And so it's really like now I'm actually building my legacy, you know. So this is just like an epic chapter. It's the coolest chapter I'm ever going to probably be in. So I'm just trying to take full advantage of it.
Good luck Thursday.
Let's go. Let's go. Thanks, guys.
Good, how are you? Little bit of drama there at the weigh-in / face-off. What was that interaction what was that interaction like, and have you had interactions with your opponent before?
Yeah, Mason's, kind of like a prankster. So, he gave me a kiss on the forehead. I had to give him a little bit back. Didn't want to make it too big of a deal, but that's what it was.
Did you find just found it disrespectful, kind of?
You kiss kiss a grown man on his forehead.
Of
you're about to have a match. Not the best.
Big match coming up in UFC BJJ. What has it been like joining the organization? You've obviously been doing this a long time. This is kind of a new thing, a lot more eyes on you.
Yeah, no, it's been great so far. I mean, the treatment that the athletes get with the UFC is, it's unmatched. I've competed for a lot of the organizations, the big organizations throughout Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and grappling, and this is by far the most professional, and it's expected, right? And you figure that going in, but when the level of detail, the staff that helps you, and every little thing is accounted for, which is amazing. And it just makes, our lives as grapplers, a lot easier. And, it puts a little bit more, in your head. It's like, all right, well, this is serious, so you have to be serious when you go out there. So I like it. I love the pressure.
Have you found it distracting at all? Has it impacted your training at all the media obligations and just everything going on?
No, actually, for me, I'm enjoying this. I mean, I love this. This is so fun. Like to put this, to put jiu-jitsu on a stage this big, and to be a part of it. I was telling my guys before I came up here, it's like I'm just going to enjoy the ride. And since I've been here, I've just been enjoying the ride. So, my training has gone the way exactly how I expected it to. There's not much to do left. It's just get ready for tomorrow. No, everything's been great.
Last one for me. Just talk to me about your opponent. Obviously, you said he's a prankster, so you're familiar with him. I'm sure you studied him a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you think his biggest strengths are that you'll need to neutralize in order to get your hand raised?
He's got really good passing. If he gets on top, it's gonna be tough. I'm gonna have to work, things that I, prefer to prefer to avoid. But strong passing. He's got a really good rubber guard that I've been, practicing defending and making sure that I'm not in. But some of the places where he's typically successful, I feel like I'm better at, and so it's a good matchup for me. The stand-up position, I think I'm going to be able to take advantage of. Whereas typically when he's fighting some of these guys, he's really good on he's able to get on top because he can take him down. But in this case, I think I'm going to be able to be in the top position myself. But yeah, I mean, overall, he's a good grappler. He can work top, bottom. He can work all those different positions, and so can I. So I'm pretty confident.
Do you think his size advantage will play into it at all, or?
I've been competing against guys bigger than me my entire career, literally from day one, and so I'm so used to it that he's not that much bigger than me. So I think it's not going to make much of a difference. Thank you.
When I was doing research on this, I pulled up Tapology and almost made the mistake of seeing that you hadn't competed since 2022. That is not true.
That's not true.
Do you ever take any time off? I found a better site, BJJ Heroes, that lists all your stuff on there, and you are quite the active competitor.
Yeah, I do this not because I make money competing, because for the most part, it's not really been the case in historically. I do this because I love it. So I love to compete. I have a school back home in Detroit called Assembly. We travel, 10, 15 times a year to compete all over the country, all over the world. And, I compete alongside my guys in pretty much every event. And I do it because I love to do it, not because, I'm forced to or anything like that. So all those things that you've saw, those are things that I wanted to do and I actively were looking for.
And the UFC has came out, and really sort of said this, BJJ, they don't want it like what the Fight Pass Invitational, the other ones. They want this to be fun and exciting matches. They want fans that have turned on to this to leave thinking like, wow, I've seen something I've never seen. Do you think that's why the UFC was drawn to you and the kind of action that you bring? And do you think that you will be able to deliver a fun and exciting friendly bout?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, under the lights, I compete the best that I can. And so, my style is pretty active. I really like to work on the feet. I like to throw guys. I like to pick people up, slam them. I like to submit people. It's rare that I have to get into a match that's, just kind of like a slog, not much going on. But under the lights, that never happens. I'm always going after it. Whether I win by submission or lose by submission, it's going to be a submission.
And then last for me, what do you think about the rule set and also competing in the bowl, and how would that affect your typical strategy going into a bout?
Yeah, so the strategy is different because of obviously the bowl and the rule set, but we've been preparing for that for the last month or so. We have a wall at our gym, so we've been able to practice on that for the better part of a month, and a little bit longer than that actually. And the 10-point must system is very interesting. But we have other rule sets in jiu-jitsu that I've competed under that were like submission only or ADCC, all these different things. But all that matters is going out there and submitting him as early as possible. So points, 10-point must system doesn't matter.
I was going to say, so as for the rule set, it's not like you're out there like, oh, wait, I can't do this or I can't do this. It's just a matter of get the submission. That's the clear goal.
Absolutely. And they don't give us, they don't say you can't do this submission or that submission. That would be more hindering of strategy than anything. But, everything's on the table. So that's what we're going to get.
Good luck on your match.
Thank you.
Esteban, it's fight week. How are you feeling coming into fight week and just a few days away from competing?
Una semana más de pelea. ¿Cómo te sientes a pocos días de tu pelea el sábado?
Emocionado, contento y listo, ¿no? Listo para el sábado. Queda la parte difícil que es dar el peso, y la parte divertida viene el sábado, así que contento y emocionado.
Excited, happy. The only thing remaining is that, in quotes, difficult part of actually cutting weight, but the cool part is that sets up having fun on Saturday. So excited and happy.
That's great. I know the last time we saw you, the fight didn't go your way, but it was still a fight of the night, So there's still positives that you're able to take away from your last two performances, having fight of the night bonuses, and are you still able to take a positive away from that last fight?
Y o sea, la última pelea no salió como vos querías, pero de cualquier manera pelea de la noche. O sea, ¿hay algo positivo? O sea, cosas positivas que sacas de la pelea anterior, aunque el resultado no fue aquel.
Siempre hay que sacar cosas positivas de la pelea anterior. Obviamente lo positivo es también no cometer los mismos errores y la motivación de tener el bono de la noche, por supuesto, ¿no? Así que motiva a seguir teniendo una pelea consecutiva más con bono y a ello vamos, ¿no? Entrené fuerte para eso, para demostrar de que me lo merezco.
Always the opportunity to fix mistakes from the previous fight, and also the fact that fight of the night is again that bonus is just an extra motivation. So it just keeps you going, get better, and also the opportunity to just keep on getting another bonus on a consecutive streak, and just train very hard to be ready for this one.
Speaking of training, I was looking at your social media. I saw you at Killcliff. Is that where you do the bulk of your training, or are you still sort of splitting your fight camp between home and over there at Killcliff?
Y o sea, te vimos en las redes ahí que estás en Killcliff, o sea, hiciste parte de tu camp ahí. ¿Es dónde estás haciendo la gran mayoría de tu camp? O sea, ¿estás haciéndole dividido? ¿Dónde haces tu campamento?
No, lo hago completamente full en Killcliff. Ya, solamente estoy ahí directamente, así que a Argentina solamente voy de vacaciones.
No, I actually do the full thing in Killcliff. That's what I'm doing, everything. Argentina, right now, I'm actually going only vacation.
Nice. And then so I think on the same social post, it said, "Great things are coming. Be ready." Are we going to see some new tricks to the trade? Are we going to see something new? Is there something that you've worked out specifically for this fight? Or are you just feeling better than ever coming into this fight week?
Y por ahí, en el postaje que hiciste en las redes, mencionaste que por ahí vienen grandes cosas o grandes cosas vienen por ahí. O sea, podemos esperar cosas distintas que vengan tal vez para esa pelea, o simplemente te sientes más listo que nunca y por eso dices eso.
Hay cosas bajo la manga que todavía no he demostrado, así que están por ahí, pero la gente ya sabe que voy a dar show, que vengo a demostrar lo salvaje que soy. Pero obviamente entrenamos siempre la parte que no he demostrado, que es mi wrestling y mi jiu-jitsu, así que ahí hace bajo la manga para demostrar.
I do have a lot of things under my sleeve that I've been, people haven't seen it yet. But I'm always here, no matter what, to actually just show people the savage that I am. But there's some other aspects. I don't think people have seen, for example, the wrestling, the jiu-jitsu I can offer. That there may be an opportunity to show up.
That's awesome. And before I ask you about your opponent, just jumping back to, you said you're going to take some vacation time back in Argentina. How is life back in Argentina? When you go back, are you recognized everywhere when you go back on the streets? And what is it like? How is it different when you go back and visit nowadays?
O sea, que mencionaste ahora que regresas a Argentina para vacaciones. O sea, ¿cómo es cuando vuelves a Argentina? ¿La gente te reconoce? ¿Hay algo distinto? ¿Cómo es cuando regresas ahora en otro nivel de lo que haces en tu vida?
Obviamente cada vez se va haciendo un poquito más conocido. En mi ciudad, en mi pueblo, en el norte, donde son pocos habitantes, obviamente sí soy como la estrella. Y sí, ahí sí se siente mucho. En las ciudades más grandes como Córdoba y Buenos Aires se nota, pero mucho más en los eventos de MMA o donde hay gente que conoce el deporte. Y si no, sí, cada vez se va conociendo más y más y más y me reconocen más en la calle. Pero obviamente se siente muy bien, se siente agradable ese momento.
It's actually pretty cool. Back where I'm from, in the small town that I am, I'm kind of like a little star there. So I get recognized. But if you think about, larger cities like Córdoba or Buenos Aires, it's more like if you go to an MMA event or around people that are in MMA because they know it. But more and more people get to recognize you. That's a pretty cool thing, right?
That's incredible. Just jumping to this fight, what are your thoughts on Brener, and what are you expecting to see in there, and where is he dangerous?
Y ahora acerca de esa pelea, pensamientos generales, opiniones acerca de Elves Brener, o sea, ¿dónde ves la oportunidad y ventaja de explorar?
En mis manos, obviamente, sé que tengo manos fuertes, sé que puedo terminar la pelea en el primer round, así que voy a ir a por ello, a usar mis manos, y obviamente él tiene un buen juego de jiu-jitsu y aguanta golpe, pero yo creo que no pasa el primer round de la pelea.
I think it is in my hands. That's my advantage, and that's the opportunity that I have to finish the fight. And I understand he knows he's got a good ground game, and also he can take some punches. But I don't think this one goes past first round.
Are you hoping to fight again this year, and hopefully maybe in front of crowds instead of maybe an Apex? Are you hoping to get another fight in before the end of the year?
Y la esperanza, la idea es pelear una vez más al final de año, tal vez con gente, o sea, en una arena más grande, o sea, no solo en Apex. ¿Cuáles son los planes para este año?
Sí, mi plan de este año es pelear una vez más, de cerca de fin de año, noviembre y diciembre. Quiero terminar el año con 3 peleas este año. Y obviamente, si es un estadio grande, me gustaría mucho más, me motiva mucho más pelear en un estadio donde haya gente. Y de visitante, me encanta.
I want to fight one more fight towards the end of the year. That was the plan, to actually get 3 fights this year, and even more if it's a crowd. I think it motivates me even more, and and play the spoiler. Just be the visiting party. I like to be an away game there. I really like to play that spoiler.
And then last one for me, just keys to the victory for this event. What needs to happen to make sure that you get your arm raised on Saturday?
O sea, las claves de la victoria para este evento. O sea, ¿qué necesitas hacer el sábado para que se haga con tus manos arriba?
Lo mismo que hago siempre, solamente voy a salir a hacer lo mismo, un poco más concentrado, no volverme loco y conectar manos precisas.
The same that I've always done. I think just a little bit more focused, not just come out, crazy, just to make sure that I connect those hands and be very precise as well.
Hola, ¿qué tal?
Welterweight.
First of all, your last 2 fights were pretty bloody. So first of all, should we expect something like that on Saturday night? And secondary, if you had to choose, what would you prefer? Fight like with Zellhuber and Nasrat plus bonus, or finish in the early rounds and without bonus?
O sea, las últimas 2 peleas vimos sangre ahí. Fueron 2 batallas, 2 guerras. O sea, ¿cómo crees que va a ser esa pelea el sábado y qué preferís? Tener una pelea así como estas, batalla, sangre para todos los lados, salir con el bonus de la noche, o sea, acá salir con el bonus de pelea de la noche, o finalizar la pelea lo más rápido posible, dar disco, joya para la próxima, pero sin bono.
Yo creo que es muy posible sea una pelea como la de Zellhuber y la narra, ya lo aguerrido que es, como las peleas que hemos visto de Elves en la UFC, que es un peleador aguerrido. Y respecto a qué prefiero, obviamente prefiero terminar rápido con bono, pero si me da la opción...
Sin bono.
Yo creo que sin bono para poder pelear rápido, pero no, si uno termina rápido se merece el bono, ¿eh? El tema como cuando Magny no me dieron el bono, pero bueno. Las 2 son buenas opciones. Siempre ganar es ganar, y si viene con bono, mejor, digamos.
Obviously, just these fights are great and have the opportunities, like the McKinney fight. Let's go with the Zellhuber fight. The Zellhuber fight was awesome. You get that bonus. It's come out with the win and the bonus. That's amazing too. But I've had opportunities to have other fights, and in getting a quick win. As you saw in the McKinney fight and other fights that I've had, it's a great opportunity to show the skills, but winning is what matters. So it's what you want is to win. So you can have, I know having a quick fight also, if you have a quick fight, most likely there's a possibility you get the bonus. But winning is winning, and that's the most important thing. So we're here to win. So whether it's a long fight with the bonus or a quick one, winning is very important for us.
Thank you.
Listo.
Nora, how are you doing? How was fight camp, and how are you coming into this camp, or
Hi.
this fight week?
Good morning. Thank you. I'm good, actually. I'm happy because it's going to be my first main card. So, yeah, the fight camp has been nice. We worked on more aspect of the fighting and every compartment. So yeah, I'm feeling good.
The only tough question I'm going to ask you is this one now. The last time we saw you, there was a weight miss, and we've had weight miss before. How was the weight coming into this fight week?
So just to be clear, the weight miss was only the last time in Miami. Before that, my opponent asked for a catch weight, so it wasn't like a miss. I just stopped cutting weight. This time, I worked even more with my nutritionist from the PI, Glenn, and things went really good. So I'm not really afraid about the weight in this time.
That's great. And thank you for clarifying the other one as well. I think I saw on your social media that you said that you're hoping the goal of yours is to break into the top 10.
Yeah.
Are you hoping with the win on this one that this will catapult you into the top 10?
I hope so. She's number 10, I'm 12, and so I think if I beat her, I'm gonna be number 10. At least that will be like the logic. And yeah, I'm just aiming to fight even more girls from the top 10 after that. So, and I'll go for whatever it takes.
Talk to me a little bit about her. Where is she dangerous, and what are you expecting from her in this fight?
I think she's. The biggest thing is that she has more experience than me. Besides that, she's maybe the only one with me that has good Muay Thai. She has some level on the ground. She's okay in wrestling. Not much, but I think the main thing with her is gonna be standing.
Earlier we were talking about ranking. Your division's seen some recent changes. I want to get your thoughts on the current champ, and tell me about what you think about the overall state of the division.
Well, I think, so the new champ, Kayla Harrison, got, 3 fights, I think, to be the champion. Well, good for her. She was indeed she had some medal in the Olympics in judo. She was at the top in her former organization. So good. She's gonna be the woman to kill now for every girl in the top 10. So I think everybody want to call her out. I'm not in a hurry. I want the belt, of course, like every female of this category. But step by step, and she's not complete. She has stuff where she's really good at and maybe difficult to beat in her own game, I will say, but there is way to beat her. Concerning the rest of the category, we saw many good figure of the category leaving, and I think some wants to leave as well because they've been here for a long time in the game. So I think some refresh will be good. We have newcomers from 2 years ago, like me, like Jacqueline, Melissa as well. True that Jacqueline was the best. She has no loss for now, and I think I'm just behind. And I think women the division needs women like us, like newcomer like us.
And for somebody that maybe hasn't seen you fight before, how would you describe your fight style?
I think I'm aggressive. Of course, I'm from Muay Thai, so that's the weapons I love. But now I'm a real MMA fighter, so I'm just a well-rounded fighter that like to go forward.
And then on Saturday, what are your keys to the victory? What needs to happen to make sure that you get your arm raised on Saturday?
Oh, that's for sure for the public, is to make sure they're gonna watch the fight. And so
Best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you so much.
Hello.
Hello.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Ça va?
Ça va, merci à vous.
One quick from me in English. I know it's only 1 month between this event and event in Paris, but would you like to compete in Paris if the fight on Saturday night will go well for you, for your health?
Actually, I feel good enough since a month. I have some doubts back in June. But now, if everything goes as planned, which is not often the case in combat sport, but still, yeah, I really want to fight in Paris because I'm a bit like frustrated to fight just 5 weeks before that. But if I can beat her quick enough, or at least not receive damages, I really hope that I can fight in front of my public in September 6th.
Merci. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
There's the mic right there. Yeah.
What's up, guys?
How you doing?
Good, good.
Right over here. Little drama at weigh-ins today. I think that's the first time we've seen any shenanigans at BJJ weigh-ins so far. There have only been 2 events, but talk to me about that interaction.
Yeah, I've had this scale for like 10 years, and it's never done me wrong before. And today was the day it just did me wrong. My scale was just 2 pounds. It was like 2.5 pounds lighter than the scale here. So I was under on my scale, and then obviously got here and I was like 2 pounds over. So I just ran over to the PI. I mean, I really don't cut that much weight. I cut like 7 pounds. So
Thank you for clarifying that. I was talking more about the little shove at the face.
Oh, the weigh. Oh,
yeah,
that drama.
yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
No, there was some other drama before that.
If you want to expand on that too, but I was more the interaction.
Yeah.
At the
No, it
face
was just
off.
a couple people that were like scrambling to make weight. It was like 3 or 4 of us that were, we showed up and we were over and we had to go run to the PI and then we had to run back, and so that was a different drama. The drama at the weigh-ins. No, David, I just didn't realize how much taller I am than him. I love having him as an opponent because people are going to think I'm like 6'2".
I noticed the size difference, and I asked him about it when he was in here, and he says you're not that much bigger than him.
I got a good 6 inches on him.
That interaction, I think, obviously we are in the combat sports world, the fight game. I think, do you think those kind of interactions are good? Because I think building up some of these fights and having a little bit of bad blood might be good for these matches.
Yeah, definitely. I think that we got a little pop on social media, and yeah, definitely good for the sport, man. You gotta have fun with it too. Like everyone's so serious and so nervous, and they're all shaking and staring at each other. Like, I don't know. We're on a big stage. Take advantage of your 15 seconds of fame that you got up there. Have fun with it, and try to do something funny.
Talking about the big stage, coming over to the UFC, such a big global organization, what's that been like for you, and adjusting to all the extra eyes on you, all the media obligations, stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's been like a gradual rise because I've been competing on a lot of events, first through UFC Fight Pass, and then the Fight Pass Invitational, and then now to UFC BJJ. So it's been a gradual rise, but obviously it's like really cool getting to sit at the fights front row. I'm a huge fan of the UFC. The reason I got into the sport is because I wanted to fight in the UFC. And obviously the cards didn't play out that way, but to be able to sit like front row and watch the fights, and them to put you on the camera and have, my mom texting me like, all my friends and everyone at work saw you on the TV, and your family's like proud of you, and I don't know, it's just like a different thing when you have people from your high school and your family members that don't know anything about the sport that are texting you and being like, oh my God, bro, I just saw you on TV. So it's pretty awesome. It's been pretty cool.
You mentioned the MMA journey that you were on didn't work out. Why didn't it work out? Did you just decide to kind of focus more on the jiu-jitsu, or?
Yeah, I had a little bit of problem with head trauma. I have a lot of experience of head trauma in my life. I was a crazy little kid. I got knocked out cold a few times when I was a little kid, and then I played rugby in high school, and then I went straight into MMA. I was a wild kid when I was younger, so I think I have a long history of head trauma, and I started having problems with concussions early on in my MMA career, and I just got to a point where I decided that it wasn't probably going to be the right path for me to take.
How has the UFC helped you with that? You obviously have access to the PI now. Have you focused on the head trauma that you've had and maybe different ways to combat it?
Yeah, that's something that I haven't really looked into with them yet, but thank you for giving me that idea. But I will say that pretty much all the problems that I was having have went away since I switched to jiu-jitsu. I have had little small kind of like minor concussions from maybe clashing heads or something like that, but I haven't really had a lot of problems. But with that being said, we still do kind of like take some hits to the head, not to the same extent, but yeah, it's a great idea to maybe go to the PI and get that checked out.
You talked about your height advantage against your opponent. What other strengths do you think he has that you'll have to neutralize in the bowl to get your hand raised on tomorrow night?
Yeah, he's a dangerous leg locker. So I'm pretty sure that's what his game plan is going to be, to attack the legs. And besides that, he's good at everything, but I think I'm just a little bit better. He has good wrestling. I think my wrestling's a little bit better. He has good passing. I think my guard's a little bit better. So I think the key for me is to stay out of the leg entanglements, make sure that I give him the respect that he deserves, and take the match, obviously take it seriously, and just stay locked in, stay out of the leg entanglements, and just try to beat him everywhere.
Just a couple of quick ones. Like you said, you've been on the Fight Pass Invitational. You fought all these other different ones. What do you think about the UFC BJJ platform? You're competing in the bowl. Kind of just talk about those differences, the different sort of strategy, and the different rule set that maybe you've had to fight before, and what are the benefits and the pluses to doing all that?
Yeah, as far as the rules itself, I mean, it's a pretty easy switchover. I mean, it's 3 5-minute rounds. It's submission only, and it's gonna get judged based on all of the other criterias that we've already been competing in jiu-jitsu, taking the person down, passing their guard, taking their back, getting to dominant positions. So the rule set itself, I don't think is gonna be much of a big change from what I'm used to. I do like that it's 3 5-minute rounds because, I did start off in MMA, so my whole early jiu-jitsu training, we were always training for 3 5-minute rounds. And so to come back to that and to come full circle is pretty cool. Also, I think having those breaks is going to give you a little bit more. It's going to give you a little bit more drive to want to push the pace. A lot of these jiu-jitsu matches that have been going on before this have been really long, like time periods. So it'll be like 15 minutes straight, 20 minutes straight, 30 minutes straight, whatever it is, and you just like you really want to pace the whole time. So now okay, I got 5 minutes and I'm going to get a break, so I could go a little bit harder. So I think that's going to be better for my style as well.
And it seems like with them giving those breaks, you have more energy to go for the submissions, and the fact that submission's the way to win, kind of it feels like they're trying to build that excitement, as opposed to a lot of other matches where it seems like grapplers have been trying to just make it to overtime and then get something in overtime. Do you feel like a lot of other systems, or maybe even the Fight Pass Invitation in the past, it was a little bit like that? It was like a scramble to get to overtime and then be the first person to score in overtime?
Yeah, I mean, with the Fight Pass Invitational, I guess the one problem when it was 10 minutes and then the 5-minute overtime, there was no points in the 10 minutes. So you don't really want to give too much energy to like take someone down, for example, or you don't want to give too much energy to pass someone's guard because you're not really going to get rewarded for it. Like you could score 20 points on someone during the regulation, but the points aren't scored. And then if they score 2 points in the overtime, then that's how they win, right? So yeah, I think that rule set was leading to a lot more of the slow-paced match for the 10 minutes. And then what we saw was the overtimes would be super exciting, and there would always be a submission in the overtime, right? So I think each round, there's their scoring. So if I do something in the first round, even though it's not traditional jiu-jitsu points, it's a 10-9, but we know, like, okay, if I take him down and he doesn't take me down, I'm going to win that round. So we're going to be a little bit more motivated. Even if we don't submit the person in the first 5 minutes, at least we'll see maybe like a takedown or a guard pass or a little bit more scrambles in the first 5 minutes.
Last, what do you think of the belt, and what would that mean to be able to have that BJJ belt?
Yeah, the belts are super cool. I got a bunch of Submission Underground belts. That was like Chael Sonnen's promotion. I got like 6 or 7 of those. So now to be able to add a new one, especially the UFC BJJ, you know, it has the UFC logo on there. Yeah, I mean, it means a lot to me. It's going to be super cool, and I think that the UFC BJJ is going to keep growing, hopefully. And so who knows, maybe like 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you know, the UFC BJJ belt might be like the pinnacle of the sport of jiu-jitsu. You know, it's not really there yet. Obviously, it's still a huge accomplishment, but who knows, maybe later down the line, getting that belt could be like the pinnacle, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, I have a belt too, you know, I got the first one.
That's awesome. Best of luck on your belt.
You mentioned about the lineage of the belt. Is part of you kind of excited that it's a bit on you, right? If you get the belt, then you're the one who has to set the tone for how important that belt is for other people to come win. Is part of you excited to maybe create a lineage fresh off the bat?
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think I'm the best 205er in the world. So for me to get the belt and to be the champion, and then hopefully I can defend it as many times as possible as well. So yeah, I mean, I think it depends. It depends on how many times I'm able to defend the belt. It depends on, you know, where the promotion goes from here. So we're not going to know. All that I, right now, like, we don't really know, right? But all that I know is that I'm super excited to be here, kind of in the early growing stages of the company. And I'm just excited to see what happens in the future. Thank you, guys.
Check, check. There it is. The Haitian sensation back again. How are you, Neil?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
We're doing very, very good. It's always good to see you in here. You know, even though, according to my notes, it's almost been 10 years since you've been in the similar situation where you've had 2 losses coming in here. You know, it's funny. I think about your career. When you go back that, I don't even know if you remember the names. Sergio Moraes and Seth Baczynski. That's how long ago that was. They aren't even fighting anymore, but here you are still high in the game, you know, doing your thing. You know, I guess, is that a point of pride? And after that 2-loss streak, you went on a 7-fight win streak. Are we on the cusp of seeing another one of those?
Yeah, let's roll back the hands of time. I mean, it sounds good to me. I mean, it's bittersweet and like also motivating at the same time. I mean, like you mentioned, the last time I lost 2 fights in a row was 2013. The last time I wasn't ranked as a UFC welterweight was 2014. So to be here literally so many years later, get an opportunity to go out there and try to make some things happen again, I'm definitely grateful for that.
Yeah, I saw you mention that. I was watching, you did an interview with Mike Owens, and you said that was the first time since 2014. Is that extra motivation, or is that just something, when you see the rankings, I think it's been something that's just been part of what you know, you've been ranked for so long, you probably haven't even thought about it. Maybe you do. But is that a little extra motivation to get back in that ranking, or is it just about getting that win and just starting that win streak again?
It's a part of the process for sure. It's definitely a motivating factor. Absolutely. I mean, for me, looking at these last 2 fights, like where I'm at now, one of the things that it forced me to do to just kind of like take a step back, reassess things, and just kind of set some goals for it. I mean, there were plenty of goals that I had over the years, and some of those goals seem a little bit further from me than I would have liked or whatever. So I had to like reassess, reset some goals and start accomplishing. So first and foremost, my first goal is Saturday night, go out there and get a win. Right after that win, my next goal is get back in the rankings and just kind of take it from there. So there's definitely a huge motivating factor in like realizing like, damn, this is the first 7 almost 11 years I'm not ranked anymore. Let's get back in there. But it all starts Saturday night. It all starts Saturday night with the win. So that's the first part of it all. That's the first goal that I set for myself. So go out there, get that W, and then take it from there.
And any W makes sense and starts the path, or do you want to go out there and do you need like a definitive finish to kind of just rinse those last 2 fights completely out of the mindset, or you just want to get back and it doesn't matter how it happens, you just want that win?
Oh, the more dominating of a win it is, the better it is for me, kind of thing. But I know Elizeu is a very tough opponent, and I can't take him lightly at all. So for me, it's going out there and getting a win, going out there, getting a win, and then reassessing and taking it from there. I know what I have in front of me in an opponent like Elizeu, so it's definitely something I'm not taking lightly. So I'm definitely going to shoot for the finish in that fight. But in the event I get out, just walk away with a dominant win, I'll be content with that as well.
You know, you brought him up. Let's talk about him. You know that he's going to be a tough fight, but where is he dangerous, and where are you expecting the biggest things you have to keep track of once you get in the
He's dangerous everywhere. He's super unpredictable. He has some submission wins. He has tons of knockout wins. He has a couple of fights that went to distance. So he's definitely a guy that's pretty well-rounded. His striking is definitely his strength. He throws some unpredictable spin attacks and that kind of thing that you always have to be wary of. But ultimately, I think, and then the other factor of it is like for most of my opponents, I always kind of like say, yeah, I got the experience on him. Not this time. Like so, he even has that going for him going into this fight. So I think the biggest thing for me was just like where my mind was going to this fight. I mean, coming off of 2 losses, fighting guys like Marias and Pratas, and then now getting a guy who's kind of like more of a peer, being another 30-plus-year-old guy in the card. It almost sets the stage to allow me to get complacent. Where it's like, oh, I think I'm catching the break, fighting another peer kind of at this point. But I think he's just as dangerous, if not more dangerous, than my last 2 opponents. And mentally, I need to keep myself in a position where I'm respecting what he brings to the table and not allow myself to get complacent, thinking I'm going to go out there and just get a easy win against him.
You know, you mentioned mindset. Where is your head right now? How is your mindset going into this fight?
I'm in a great place. I mean, after those 2 losses, it really kind of forced me in a position to kind of reassess things, get things in order, and I was grateful for that. I don't think I would have ever taken the time off to really focus on some of the things I had to deal with and kind of get them in order had that not happened. So it wasn't the way I wanted things to take place, but at the end of the day, I was very fortunate that like I got an opportunity to just kind of take some time off, take some time away, and just kind of really focus on the things that mattered more outside of fighting to allow those things to be in order to allow me to go out there to fight.
I know a lot of times we hear fighters, they'll employ like a mental coach or anything like that. I don't know if you've ever went that route, or is it just family, friends, and just downtime with yourself that you're able to kind of get through those mental
downtime myself and God. I mean, carry me through everything else in life. So I've never felt with that recipe before. I'm not going to choose now to try to shy away from it. But also, I really had to like take that time and really focus on what was important and just kind of like deal with some of the choices I made over the years, deal with some of the consequences for the decisions that I made that allowed me in the position I was in, and really just find a way to just kind of like pull myself out of the quote-unquote hole that I found myself in. And I feel like I've been able to do just that. I'm in a great place physically, emotionally, mentally. Things are lining up great right now. So the time off wasn't something that I would have took on my own, but I'm very fortunate that it made me go back and reassess a lot of things.
And I know you took the time off. You know, it's a little bit later in the year to fight than you normally would. You normally usually have like 3 or 4 fights at this point. Are you going to try to get another one in before the year's over? Or?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like I said, step one is go out there, get a win on Saturday night, and it would take it from there. I mean, it's later in the year to get started, but if there's a guy that can pick off 3 fights in the next 4 months, I know who that is.
Yeah. Well, last one on this fight, your keys to the victory. What needs to happen to make sure you get your arm raised on Saturday?
The biggest thing is mental. We need to go out there with the right mentality, go out there and stay focused to the game plan and get it done. Like I said earlier, I can't allow myself to get complacent and think that like, oh yeah, this is a breeze. I'm fighting another old dude kind of thing. It's a tough, dangerous opponent. I need to show up my A game and get it done.
You know, a lot of times people look at the reach difference. I want to ask you, is the reach as big? Is it just the fans and media that we see the reach difference? I think it's a 7 inch, 8-inch reach difference. Is that really, does it portray into a big difference in an MMA fight, or is it more pronounced, say, in like a boxing event? Will that make a big difference?
It absolutely can, but the biggest thing is like as much as I'm looking at the reach advantage and how to like capitalize on using it, that kind of thing, I can guarantee him and his camp are looking at the reach advantage like, okay, cool, how do I shut it down? So for me, just going back to looking at past fights and past strategies that were used against me that were successful at shutting down the reach advantage that I had over past opponents, and just kind of like. Game plan backwards if you would think of it that way, where it's like, okay, cool. In the event that I fought this guy that I had a significant reach advantage on him, how was he able to shut it down? Just kind of being able to like think that like, okay, if I was Neil's opponent now and I saw this guy successfully doing this, I'd probably try to apply the same game plan going into fight with Neil. So I had to like really focus on the things that other opponents did well to shut down my reach advantage, and just kind of make that the prior to go into this fight. Like, how do I shut down his weapons to allow my offense to be that much more efficient?
And I know you said that you're not in the top 10, but unless I'm wrong, you're still holding on to the most welterweight wins record. So that's got to be a little something to still be proud of, and something that you can still build upon and add right back with a win here.
Absolutely. I mean, that'd be something I can have my cap on and get to go add to it on Saturday night. Just make that record bigger and bigger, longer and longer. So like I definitely appreciate that, and just take whatever motivation and positivity I can have my way and just start knocking these goals out.
I love it. Good luck on Saturday.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Cool. All set. Perfect. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Chris, just a couple days away from your fight. How are you feeling? How was training camp coming into this?
Yeah, it was great. It's great. I did about 8 weeks at American Top Team, and then I flew over here yesterday morning, jumped in the PI, get familiar with the place. You know, I've been here a couple of times now, so feels good. Feels good to be back in Vegas. Nice dry heat. It's nothing like Scotland.
Yeah, I bet. You know, a lot of times when people get used to that PI, they start deciding whether they want to relocate to Vegas. You know, like
Yeah.
You know, talk a little bit about the facilities over there and how it helps you when you're just fine tuning these last days before your fight.
Yeah, everything's in hand. You know, you've got the UFC staff here on call. You know, they make it so easy for you. I'm very fortunate to be in the UFC, and the guys looking after you. You know, just by a text, you know, they'll do anything for you. And obviously the facilities state of the art. You know, they've put a lot of money, effort, and time into it. So you know, it's great to reap the rewards.
And I know it's the Apex. It's not T-Mobile Arena. And, you know, you split some bouts here with the Contender Series. Does this place still have some special meaning to you, the Apex?
Yeah, absolutely. I earned my UFC contract. You know, I remember when I was a young kid thinking about trying to get into the UFC. You know, I dreamt about being in the UFC. And, you know, I used to blow out candles, used to put coins in wishing wells to try and get to the UFC. And
that's awesome.
You know, that's a dream I've completed now. So I need to change. I have changed my goals and admirations. And not many people can say that they've managed to get their dreams. So I'm in a very fortunate position, and, you know, it's great to be back.
I think there's a lot of people trying to get to the UFC. So which one worked? Was it the wishing well? Which one did the final trick?
This bad boy here. That got me to the UFC.
Yeah, unfortunately, that wishing well won't get that one.
Yeah.
You know, just before we move on beyond the contenders, you know, Slava Claus is still around. Is that a fight that you'd ever like to revisit?
Of course, you know, I had when I was fighting in the Contender Series and I fought him, you know, throughout that fight week, I had an opponent pull out on the day of the fight. Then I was meant to fight on the Saturday. They were going to sign me to the UFC, and then they were going to make me fight in Vegas. And then they said, that's not going to happen. The commission won't allow it. So you're going to fight in 10 days' time against Slava. So I cut weight 3 times. And then I got my chance to make my opportunity and fight Slava. Unfortunately, you know, due to the weight cut and many other things, I put on a really bad performance. And theoretically, I should have probably grappled a little bit more. But I tried to seize the opportunity and make sure I put on a performance in front of Dana and Sean. But after the fight, they said it was like the best 2 rounds he had seen in Contender Series so far. They came back through to the back and said to me, Chris, we want guys like you on the show. We realise what you've done to get to the position you're in right now, cutting weight 3 times. It was in COVID as well, so I couldn't move around Vegas. I was stuck in my hotel room for 3 weeks on my own, and I still went ahead and fought. And, you know, good things come in time, and now I'm in the UFC, so who cares?
Yeah. Do you still follow the Contender Series? Do you watch it, and do you follow any of the fighters that still come through that series?
Yeah, I love it. It's what got me to the dance. It's like it's the place to be. It's the only place to be. If you want to get the shortcut into the UFC, put on performances in your pro career, start finishing people, and then chap on Sean Shelby's door, and he's going to put you into the Contender Series, and then you're going to win, and you're going to get into the UFC. You know, it's hard to get into the UFC, and it's even harder to stay here.
Yeah. And, you know, coming in with the 2-fight win streak, you know, what's been the keys to success to enable you to keep getting these wins? If you had to look back on something, is it just the overall training? Is it just the talent? I mean, why do you think you've been so successful so far?
I think surrounding myself with positive and like-minded people. You know, I moved my training camp to American Top Team. You know, guys like Mike Brown, all this sort of stuff. You know, these guys are like looking after you as a fighter. They're not just turning up, doing a session, and like telling you a couple of techniques. They're looking at your opponent. They're looking at you. They're going through techniques. Like it's different gravy. Like back home in Scotland, like the gym owner is usually the coach, and they need to focus on making money for the gym so they can provide a life for themselves. Whereas at American Top Team, they pay the coaches to come in and look after you. So that's their job, and that's all they need to do. So that's super important, and that's been a massive part of my game.
talk to me a little bit about the state of MMA in Scotland. How is it right now? Are there lots of prospects in the work? I mean, as a whole, do the people get behind MMA and the fighters that are training in the sport?
Yeah, for sure. It's a bit weird in Scotland right now. Like, there's a couple good gyms. They kind of battle against each other, but myself and Robert Whiteford, we're the black sheep of Scotland. We train by ourselves. Robert Whiteford was the first UFC fighter from Scotland, and we've just been training together since, God knows how many years now, 12 years maybe, and we've just been hard at it and just putting the head down, working hard and making sure that we're doing everything we possibly can to be a better fighter. And now I'm in the UFC, and I'm still trying to get better, and we're both working together still, and we're always getting better.
And then you're given the name Mateusz Rebecki. Where's he dangerous, and what are you expecting to see from him on Saturday in the cage?
Well, we all know he comes forward. He's a bit of a brawler. I think he's going to wrestle me a little bit, to be honest. But it takes no genius to know that he's going to come forward with some heat. So we need to make sure we're not getting caught in stupid places. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. He's a great opponent to have in front of me.
And I know you have a fan-friendly style. I'm sure you'd like to fight overseas in front of some crowds. With a win here, are you hoping to fight again this year? And where would you like to try to fight?
I'd fight in Scotland. That would be great. But I don't think we'll get that opportunity for a while now. But I'm happy to fight anywhere. In fact, no, I'll not fight in Mexico City again. That was pretty mad. I didn't like that. But it is what it is. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
And tell me if I'm wrong. You've trained with him. You guys trained extensively before, more so than just random sparring, occasionally in the gym. You guys have some history in the gym, right?
Yeah, so to be honest, I took this fight on a bit of a weird reason. So I had my debut 2000 and whatever it be against Omar Morales, but my opponent had pulled out before that, so I was meant to fight Mikhail Figlak. He was a Polish guy as well, and we had done my training camp, and Mateusz Rebecki was already in the gym. He went away, had his fight, he won, and then when he heard my opponent had pulled out, he said, "I'll fight you." We'd already been in the gym together, so I was a little bit like, we're supposed to be teammates. Yeah. So, I told him on Twitter, I just said, get in line. Everybody's wanting a piece, so just get in line. So, when this fight came about later down the line, Sean Shelby sent his name over. I'm a guy who likes to give, and his wish was to fight me, so I gave him that wish. So, I think it's a bad move on him, but I was happy to do it. He's a very respectful opponent. He was super respectful to me in the gym, and we're just going to go out there and clash. And I'm going to show him I'm the better fighter. It's just unfortunate we trained in the same gym, and I was also very fortunate that American Top Team were so professional in regards to keeping us separate from our trainings and stuff like that. So it is what it is, and like I say, I'm going to make his wish come true.
That's a great way of putting that. I was going to say, is it tough to? It's not like you guys were best of friends, but it's still, like you said, you thought at first when he asked for the name that you were teammates. Is it tough to shed that and not take it personal and just get back to it's business?
The money that I'm on to fight right now, I would punch my grand for that. So it is what it is.
What did your grandfather ever do to you? And I guess just last for me, keys to a victory. What needs to happen to make sure you get your arm raised on Saturday?
I think I could win everywhere. I'm obviously going to capitalise on every mistake that he makes. He makes quite a lot of mistakes in fights. So do I. Well, it's just part and parcel of the job. So on the ground, we've been working some series of techniques. Striking, we've worked some series of techniques, and then wrestling. I see a key to victory everywhere. It's just where he takes the fight will obviously dictate where I finish it.
Best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Just two quick ones for me. You talked about American Top Team, obviously a legendary gym, just a factory for UFC legends. Talk about what it's like for your development as a martial artist, going in there every day and seeing all of those legendary fighters in there every day.
It's a bit of a pinch me moment. A lot of people, message me, for instance, that Dustin has got such star power, it's unbelievable. I took a picture with him when we did some sparring in my camp. And then everybody's messaging me, "Chris, can you get me a picture with him? Can you get me a picture with you?" And I'm like, why do you not want a picture with me? But yeah, it's sometimes it's a bit of a pinch me moment. I'm very fortunate. I say fortunate all the time because I'm very thankful for it. But I've put myself there. I've worked bloody hard to get where I am right now, and I'm just bathing in it. I love it.
Last one for me, fellow countryman Paul Craig. I know you guys had some back and forth in the past with the face paint stuff or whatever.
He had the back and forth. I never had.
Have you spoken to him, or have you guys quashed that?
Yeah,
or?
we speak now and again. I don't think we've got beef. Well, maybe he's got beef with me, but I don't know. And then it was taken out of context in the last fight. I said I'm no excited Scottish fighter. It meant to be on the card. It wasn't like that. But I don't. If he's got beef with me because I paint my face, that's his problem. But if anything, you would think he's led the way so far. Maybe me copying him, it's maybe a good thing. Maybe I look up to him. He's a bit silly if he's got beef with me, but I don't think he has.
Imitation's flattery, right?
Yeah, of course. He's got the aura, and he's leading the way right now. So why not have people copy? I think it's great. I see Dustin. Sometimes you see him, you're like, fuck, that's cool, I'm going to copy that. Or, I train with a guy called Yaroslav. He's a really inspirational fighter. You see him, you're like, I try and copy some of his techniques. When you're in training camp, you're trying to copy other techniques and trying to see what works for you. So I don't see that as a bad thing.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Done. Thank you, guys. Easy.
What's up, guys?
How you doing?
Good.
Been a busy couple months for you, getting your first win. A win in the cage at Tough Enough. What has it been like?
It's been fun, man. It's been fun. Life couldn't be better right now. Of course, there's always good things happening and a lot of other things coming on the way, just on our personal life. But everything is, happening for a reason. So I feel like a lot of good stuff are on its way. And already happening. So happy with my first MMA fight. Happy to be able to fight for the title now. I think everything is on track.
What's it like coming off a high like that in the cage? You get that win, and then it's a pretty quick turnaround coming in. Obviously, UFC BJJ is taking a little bit of a step up. How do you get back to focusing and prepare yourself for this match?
I think it was good because I wanted to fight for the belt. And unfortunately, the reality was right as they were recording. The recording week was the same week I was fighting MMA, or I had the MMA fight scheduled. So I just didn't have the courage to pull out of it. I was waiting for way too long for it. I had to do it. I just told him, I was like, look, I'm not gonna make money from it, but I need to do it. It's just a personal thing. I need to get this thing started. If not, I just won't. So I was happy with my result. I was able to get a TKO, so that was awesome. And once I came to watch the finals and I watched Andy and Andrew going at it, I thought that Andrew was probably going to get the better out of it. I was hoping that Andy was going to do better, than he did. But Andrew just he's at the highest level of this division for sure. So I expected to go that way. So once he said that, if you want to come and get it, I was ready. I was like, okay, I gotta go there and ask for my shot because I didn't want to wait until October. Honestly, that would mean I would end up getting another MMA fight and stay too focusing MMA while he's still training jiu-jitsu. So it's better for me, I feel like, to turn around and be like, you know what, let me go back and focus on grappling while I'm still, not that far off from my last match. So it worked out well for me, you know, being able to fight now in July. I think everything worked out well.
He was in here earlier, and he was very respectful of you, kind of gave you a lot of praise. He mentioned a moment when he was 15 years old where you guys ran in, and someone asked him if he'd ever like a fight with you, and he was like, "What do you? I'm not. This guy's a legend."
Yeah.
I mean, you are an elder statesman, even though you're only 29. What's it like when someone like Andrew's coming up the ranks, and he's basically getting to fight his idol now?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Honestly, like seeing the last few years and the things that he did within the last 2 or 3 years. Of course, I was a little bit less on the scene because I was trying to fight MMA really hard and couldn't get a fight. Ended up coming back full on jiu-jitsu. So my career in jiu-jitsu never really like stopped. I had a little pause, I want to say, but I'm still at the highest level. I'm still feeling really good. Still getting better. Have a lot of experience on my advantage on my side. But watching Andrew come up through my division, right, on the 77, and how much he has done and the guys he has faced and how he has put guys away is really insane and expected, honestly, because he always had that, you know, that dog in him. You can tell that he likes fighting, he likes pushing forward, and I love that because when he was young, of course, I'm sure he looked up to me somewhat because we were in the same division, we were friends. I was always competing usually on the main cards of the events that he was doing, the lower card. So we would always see each other. So seeing him going out there and doing everything that he has done, I was already expecting him to come down this way. I was already expecting we were going to have to compete. And I honestly have prepared for the last 6-7 months on, you know, strength and conditioning and training and studying to make sure when these guys get here, I'm ready for it. I'm not to take for granted.
Last one from me. Obviously, you're a veteran of FPI. You've been around the UFC and the organization for a while now. With UFC BJJ, it's kind of taken a bigger step, lots more media obligations, the reality show, eyes on you. You know, Andrew's in the front row at UFC events. Just talk about the growth and the evolution of the sport and what UFC BJJ is going to do to separate itself and kind of make it the elite organization in jiu-jitsu.
I think the UFC has everything that we needed all this time. You know, we were always looking for someone with the means and the ways to make this happen and to stick around, you know, to have long-term investment to make this thing work. So pretty quickly, I feel like we're reaching a lot of people, and of course, using the UFC platform and the UFC YouTube channel, that's an easy and great way to reach a lot more people than we would naturally. I feel like there was a lot of other media platforms in jiu-jitsu that came around and it had to grow, and it takes time, you know, until everyone gets used to it. And it was never really like full on top of it. And I feel like the UFC has the model that we need. You know, we need the contender series. We need the embedded. We need that kind of style, that kind of look into the athlete's life. So it becomes, everybody can become more familiar with everyone competing on the event. And we need that. We need like a pit like this one, like right, the bowl. We need that look, the UFC look, what UFC has to present. And they just treat us with the best of the best, you know, treatment. I've been doing PT now 2 to 3 times a week, weekly, ever since I signed with the UFC. That is like saving me, you know, $300, $450 a week, you know, on physical therapy. I get to eat every day. You know, I have access to nutritionists, psychologists, personal trainers, anything you can name. I live here in Vegas, so I get to use everything that I can. You know, I reap all the benefits. You know, I use all of it. So I feel like we are already in the future of jiu-jitsu. You know, and I'm happy to still be here and still be sticking around and be able to not only see my students maybe get to it, but be able to experience and compete and lead the way.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
You mentioned a lot of great things about the differences between the, you know, what the BJJ is doing and some of the other ones, and you did quickly mention the bowl. How does the bowl change your strategy and how you compete in one of these matches as opposed to running at somebody off of the mat and then having to reset?
Yeah.
How does that change your strategy? And also with the excitement factor with it going into shorter rounds, you know, where there maybe, and then trying to have submissions, maybe the action's going to be a little bit different than maybe what you would do in a 10-minute round. But talk about a little bit about those changes of what the bowl does to your strategy and the way that the rounds are different.
Yeah. So starting with the shorter rounds, the one thing that is most attractive about the shorter rounds for someone like me is I can push the pace to the max and not be worried about like, oh my God, I'm gonna burn, all my energy right in the beginning, and then I might be tired towards the second half, and then you have to worry about points later on. I'm good at any rule set you put me on because I already competed on so many different styles, like, growing up from gi to no gi and, all kinds of rule sets in general. So I feel like I am pretty good at adapting to the rule set. But I always talked about this rule set, through people in my circle, and I always thought that this was the best way to decide, honestly. So once people started exploring this model, I was very, very happy because we only have 3 rounds, and these MMA judges, same style as MMA judgment, right? Sorry. You don't really know what they're looking into. You kind of got to impress the judges at the least. You got to go there and look better than the other guy. That makes people have to fight. And if you choose to just be strategical and wait for the person to make a mistake, that's not like the best strategy to be able to win the round, if that makes sense, So I feel like he plays right into my advantage. I like fast-paced matches. I'm not a slow cooker and, take my time kind of guy. I like the action. I like, to hit a highlight real submission if I can. So I feel like it's going to be very helpful, especially because Andrew is going to come forward with me. And now coming down to the bow aspect of it, the bow will allow me to not have to worry about, I have the submission, but the guy's going to roll out of bounds knowing that they're going to reset on the middle. I had the Jason North match, for example. I had him in a triangle. He's defending. I go for the TP triangle. And he started squeezing, and I know that Danny got tight, and he just walked straight out because he knew he was only going to get penalized. He wouldn't get DQ'd. So, there's like these way outs for people, and I really want to get my hand raised with a submission as many times as I can while I'm in here. So the bow will stop all of that. Also, coming from an MMA perspective, and I've been training now for the last 3.5 years inside the cage and getting used to, moving, pushing forward, or circling the cage, not getting stuck on the wall and on the corners. I feel like that's going to help me a lot to be able to dictate the pace while I'm inside the bow as well.
And we saw the belt just shortly ago. It came in here. What are your thoughts on the belt, and what would that mean to take that home?
I mean, that's what I've been here for. That's what I've been aiming at the whole time. I've been hearing about, about we're gonna come out with a belt soon. It's gonna be this event. It's gonna be that event. It just kept getting pushed a little bit further away. And God's timing, God's plan. I'm here. I'm gonna be, fighting for his first defense. I'm glad there's against Andrew, because if I take this title fighting Andrew, the whole world of jiu-jitsu, at least that knows of jiu-jitsu, they're going to recognize this as a legit shot, title shot, versus if I got, maybe some other guys, they would be like, I don't know, that guy is not really like a UFC title kind of bout, but Andrew is, so I'm very happy to be able to do with him. I'm happy for everything that he has done. I'm happy that he got the chance to carry this belt for a little bit, I'm actually excited for him, but I hope to take it from him, and I hope for us to have to fight each other again and again, and hopefully have like those, Max Holloway style of Max Holloway and Volkanovski style of they just keep coming back, and it's just these guys are the 2 best, and they have to try again and again. That would be awesome, because every time we step on the mat together, I know it's going to be a show, and I know jiu-jitsu is going to grow from it. So it's only good from here.
Well, and using the max as a reference, if you point to the ground, it's guaranteed that it's going to go to the ground. So you have that. And he has a quick turnaround. So if you get that belt, are we going to see you on UFC BJJ 3 ready to defend that belt?
100%. Yes, I would love to. I'll be here as many times as they ask me for. Honestly, it becomes harder and harder for me to make MMA my priority with what the UFC is offering me right now, especially because you know how the beginning of MMA pay goes, and being a jiu-jitsu guy, already a high-level jiu-jitsu guy coming into MMA, I'm having a hard time fighting matches that make sense both ways as well. I get it, not everybody want to fight a jiu-jitsu world champion guy on their first few fights. And I'm also, my management are like, no, we don't want you fighting a freaking 10-0 guy yet. Maybe within few more fights. So that's where I'm stuck at. But I wanna get as much experience as I can in MMA while I'm free from jiu-jitsu. But anytime they say, hey, Renato, you wanna come and compete, I'll be here. This is my main priority for sure.
Best of luck on your bout.
Thank you.
saw my panic.
Back there. Trying to intercept you. E aí? E aí?
Você tava. Você tava
Eu tava ali pra trás esperando você chegar.
Go Birds. Ela falou que você estava aqui, eu fiquei aqui esperando, nada, de repente, pá, você se materializa.
Elizeu, just a couple days away from your fight, or a few days away from your fight. How are you feeling? How was fight camp coming into this week?
Faltando só alguns dias agora para a luta, como é que você está se sentindo? Como é que está a semana e como é que foi o camp?
Me sentindo o melhor possível, feliz demais de estar aqui novamente. Foi muito rápido, né? Fiquei sabendo da luta muito rápido, mas, cara, tô sentindo o melhor possível. Eu gosto disso, então acho que não tem muito mais o que falar, né? É só sentimento mesmo e esse sentimento é o melhor que eu posso expressar no momento.
Feeling very happy, very just happy to be here. I love doing this, and I know this was a quick turnout for me to be here, but just feeling great. This is what I love to do. The best way to express this to you right now, as far as a feeling, just it's very good to be here right now.
You know, and it doesn't get much more veteran versus veteran fight than this fight right here. You guys have a lot of experience. Both you guys have over 10 years with the UFC. When you think about when your career started with the UFC, did you ever imagine that you would still be here fighting and still fighting at such a high level?
E em termos de veterano contra veterano, não dá para ser mais veterano contra veterano. Os dois aí com o tempo, é década de UFC combinado. Então, como é que você vê isso? Como é que é esse casamento de luta e como é que é enfrentar dois veteranos se enfrentando e com tanto tempo de UFC?
É uma luta, na verdade, que já fazia tempo que era para rolar essa luta, né? Faz tempo que eu pedi essa luta e por isso que eu aceitei ela em tão pouco tempo. Mas eu vejo a luta se desdobrando da melhor forma possível. Acho que muitos estão empolgados também, assim como eu estou, assim como ele está também. Eu acho que vai ser uma luta, uma das melhores lutas, por ser veteranos, por ser dois conhecedores do octógono do UFC. Então, tem tudo para ser um excelente combate.
This is a fight that has been a long time coming. That's why I accepted it in such short notice, because I know it's something that should have happened a while ago. So I think this is a fight that's very interesting, and it should be a very good one because it's talk about two veterans the UFC, and also two people that just know their way around the octagon. So it should be a good one with people with a lot of experience.
Yeah, and I was looking at that. You know, you guys have never been matched up as far as I can see. But is this a fight that you knew at some point that you guys would battle? And is it one that you thought that would happen a long time ago?
E vi que o casamento de luta realmente nunca aconteceu, mas como você falou, é uma luta que você esperava que acontecesse há muito tempo. É uma luta que você queria, você já sabia que isso ia acontecer, uma luta que já estava no teu radar por muito tempo?
De alguma forma ou de outra a gente sabia que ia acontecer, mais cedo ou mais tarde, né? Acho que é meio que impossível você estar num páreo onde só tem grandes lutadores, que é a nossa categoria meio médio, a gente não acabar se confrontando mais cedo ou mais tarde. Então eu já esperava assim e surgiu essa oportunidade, então agarrei com toda a minha força e como eu disse, feliz demais de poder estar fazendo a luta, mais uma luta esse ano. Então me sinto bem aqui dentro do UFC, me sinto bem lutando dentro do octógono, tá representando o meu país, representando as pessoas que torcem por mim. Então, cara, estou feliz demais com isso.
Yeah, it's a fight that was a long time in the making, because you know that sooner or later, especially in this division with the level of talent, that you're going to face each other. So it's a fight that we knew was going to happen, and we're going to be going against each other. So happy to finally for this fight to happen. Happy to finally be facing a guy like him and to represent my country, the people that have been around me and that made my journey into the octagon possible. So those who are around me all the time, very happy to actually have this fight happen now.
Yeah, well, let's just talk a little bit about Neil. Where is he dangerous, and what are you expecting to see in the cage on Saturday?
Vamos falar um pouco do Neil. Onde é que ele é perigoso e o que você espera ver no octógono no sábado?
Eu acho ele um lutador completo, né? Um lutador que sabe explorar muito bem ali o octógono, né? Muito experiente, como todos já sabem. Então, acho que ele é um cara oportunista, assim como eu sou também. Então, tem que ficar ligado o tempo todo, né? Ficar sempre na espreita, que ele é um cara realmente que vai usar de todas as oportunidades para poder levar essa luta até o terceiro round.
I think he's a very experienced fighter, somebody that again knows his way and knows how to explore the space around the octagon, and it's someone that you have to be very aware when you're fighting, because he always tries to find opportunities to get an advantage, and I think there's someone that is always going to try to take that fight third round. So you have to be again aware at all times, because he's always going to try to keep that fight going.
Neil's coming in here with 2 losses in his last couple fights. Do you think that's going to put some extra pressure in how he maybe goes out there and fights on Saturday?
E ele tá com 2 derrotas consecutivas. Acho que vem com uma pressão extra pelo fato que ele vem disso?
Eu acho que todo lutador ele acaba pondo objetivos. Eu acho que por pressão ele deve lidar muito bem com isso. Ele afinal de contas, ele é um lutador experiente, né?
I think each fighter has their own goals, and every fighter has their objectives in life. I just think that he knows how to deal with the pressure, because he is again a very experienced fighter.
And Neil, for the first time in quite some time, has dropped out of the top 10 ranking or the top 15. Do you still see him as a high-level fighter, a top-level fighter within the division? And with a win over him, what does that do for you in the division?
E ele, obviamente, já teve no topo da divisão, já foi caindo agora e já não está mais na posição que estava antes, mas você ainda vê ele como sendo um talento da divisão, alguém que tem um nível de talento lá em cima. E o que uma vitória sobre ele faz pela tua carreira agora?
Eu acredito que eu vejo muito na questão de possibilidades e oportunidades. Então, eu estou vendo muito essa luta em estar expressando tudo aquilo que eu sei fazer, que é lutar da melhor forma. Independente se vai me pôr para uma situação melhor para estar nos top 15 novamente ou não, mas eu vejo essa luta como sendo uma grande luta. Então, estou focado mais justamente nisso, e o próximo passo vai ser consequência de tudo isso. Então, estou mais focado nesse passo de agora.
I think that again, every fight comes with its paths and opportunities and whatever it can come off next, and I try not to think of much about the future. I think that just you try to have the best fight that you can for the opponent they have right now, and that's why I'm focused right now. I'm actually focused on this fight, and I think that this step always sets up the next step, and that's what I'm focused right now.
And then last for me, keys to the victory. What needs to happen on Saturday to make sure that you get your arm raised?
E a última pergunta dele é: quais são as chaves para a vitória? O que precisa acontecer no sábado para você sair com o teu braço levantado?
Simplesmente fazer aquilo que eu treinei. Eu acho que não tem muito o que ficar falando, né, pela questão de estudo de jogo, mas estou muito confiante daquilo que eu trabalhei, como sempre. Então, é chegar lá e mostrar o capoeira agressivo, capoeira focado, que com certeza o resultado positivo vem.
Simply to do what I trained, simply just to get out there. We trained for things and we put them in practice. I think it's just obviously because of game plan and strategy, we don't want to go out there and reveal that to people, but it just simply be very focused and do what we train to do.
Good luck on Saturday.
How you doing? This is a weird fight that you're coming into, coming off of your first professional loss. How has this fight camp been for you? What's the preparation been like?
되게 좀 특별한 상황인데 이번 시합에 어떻게 준비됐고 캠프가 어땠는지.
뭐 사실 뭐 준비나 캠프란 건 딱히 뭐 있지 않았고 왜냐면 시간이 너무 짧았기 때문에 그냥 제 있는 그대로 좀 보여주려고 하고 있습니다. 그것만으로도 충분히 이길 수 있다고 생각하고 있고요.
So since this is such a short notice fight, actually there was no camp, no preparation. So I just gonna fight with my just regular skills. Yeah.
Talk to me about your opponent. What do you think his biggest strengths are inside the octagon that you'll have to neutralize to get your hand raised on Saturday?
상대가 어떤지 얘기해 달라고.
뭐 상대는 좋은 선수죠. MMA 선수로서 좋은 선수고 뭐 다양한 무기가 있는데 뭐 그 이상 그 이하도 아니라고 생각하고 있습니다.
His opponent is a good MMA fighter, but not too great. So I think I could able to beat him.
Last one for me. Just talked about you're sharing this card with a fellow countryman in Tatsuro. You know, Kaya Sakura made his debut in the organization last year. How is the growth of MMA in Japan, and how do you feel being one of the faces of the sport there?
Actually, he's not Tatsuro. He's a Park. I think you're asking. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's sharing the card with Park, though.
No, he's Park. He's Park. That's why I was. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Jumping back to the quick opponent change, I know you said the strategy might not have to change and just kind of throw everything out the window, but does that excite you, just being able to go back in there and just react to whatever the fighter's bringing at you at that moment?
So 갑자기 상대가 바뀌어가지고 이제 뭐 했는데 뭐 많이 바꾸거나 뭐 그런 걸 해야 되는데 이런 게 굉장히 좀 뭐랄까 더 흥분되고 더 좋은지.
네, 좋은 것 같아요. 이제 뭐 그런 스타일이랑 처음으로 이제 시합을 하는 거고 그런 뭐 타이로 타츠라 같은 선수랑 시합을 하는 것 때문에 굉장히 흥분되고 재밌을 것 같습니다. 네.
Tatsuro is a very like a tricky fighter, so this makes me really excited and I'm ready for it.
And you were scheduled to fight a week later, so did that make anything harder having to make weight a week earlier than you were already supposed to plan, or were you already kind of ready to weight-wise when it comes down to how short this was?
원래 다음 주에 싸우기로 했었는데 이제 일주일 앞당겨져가지고 웨이컷이나 그런 게 힘들지 않은지.
평소보다 매우 짧게 준비하고 있고 감량을 뭐 그래서 좀 짧은 기간 동안 좀 과하게 뺐는데 그래도 뭐 감량하는데 큰 지장은 없습니다. 충분히 깔끔하게 개체 통과해서 좋은 모습으로 시합 보여드릴 수 있을 것 같습니다.
Yeah, of course, I'm cutting a lot of weight in a short period of time, but I don't see that as really difficult. And so I just wanna focus on my weight cut right now, and then just able to win this week.
And can you clarify? Are you a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, or are you a black belt now?
Me?
Yeah.
Blue belt.
You're blue belt. I thought you were.
I only train in no-gi jiu-jitsu, not training gi jiu-jitsu.
Okay, so you don't really get the belts like the other ones. Okay, because a lot of times when people look at immediately, especially when they think about the when it gets to the jiu-jitsu, they look at him and they'll say, "Oh, he's a black belt." Does that really matter in an MMA fight when somebody's coming in and they're a black belt and say like you don't train in the typical belt system, but you still train in that? Is there a big difference between the levels?
So 그 격투기 시합 한 사람들한테 그러니까 네가 봤을 때 다 블랙벨트가 아니면은 되게 무시하고 막 그런 게 있는데. 뭐 그런 게 어떻게 더 되게 적응되는지 뭐 상관인지. 그러니까 격투기 선수들이 다 블랙벨트라고 생각하잖아. 다 잘하니까 격투. 근데 이제 너는 블루벨트인데 이제 뭐 그런 게 뭐 사람들이 좀 이렇게 안 좋게 말하면 이렇게 무시하거나 뭐 그런 게 있는지.
별로 상관없어요. 전 스파링 할 때도 블랙벨트 탭 잡고 블랙벨트 선수 제가 늘보다 잘하는 경우도 많이 봤어요. 그래서 딱히 뭐 벨트에 의미를 두고 있지 않습니다. 예.
So like when I train with the other black belts, I actually submit some black belts. So the color of the belt doesn't really matter to me.
And when it comes down to striking, do you feel that you have the better striking than Tatsuro, or how would you rate his striking?
스트라이킹이 이 타격이 걔보다 더 잘하는지 어떻게 걔를 부실 건지.
확실히 제가 스트라이킹적인 부분에서는 더 낫다고 생각하고 다만 저보다 나은 거는 이제 리치가 저보다 좀 긴데 그거는 별로 저한테 큰 의미가 없습니다. 그래서 저는 이제 제가 스트라이킹 훨씬 잘하기 때문에 뭐 골고루 다 후드러 팰 예정입니다. I will smash Taira Tatsuro.
Striking wise, I'm actually better than Tatsuro, but he just has a longer reach, so I might have a difficulty, but I just can't smash him.
Do you have any other English phrases that you've practiced besides "I will smash Tatsuro"? Do you have any other phrases that you've worked?
다른 영어 단어 있어? 뭐 I will smash 말고 다른 영어 할 만한 거.
I will break him.
Very nice. I guess just keys to the victory. What needs to happen on Saturday to make sure that you get your arm raised in victory?
토요일에 이기기 위해서는 뭘 어떻게 해야 될 것 같아?
뭐 그냥 제 원래대로 기량을 할 수 있는 게 더 중요하다 생각해요. 그래서 그냥 지금 할 수 있는 거는 많지 않기 때문에 그냥 계속해서 뭐 이미지 트레이닝, 멘탈 트레이닝, 그냥 제가 계속 이길 수 있는 그림, 제가 이길 수 있다는 충분한 생각, 그리고 실제로 그렇게 생각을 하고 있고요. 그냥 그거밖에 없습니다. 그리고 저는 이길 수 있습니다.
Since it's such a short notice fight, I don't have much preparation, but I do a lot of image training. I just thinking what I'm doing at the cage and what I'm gonna do. So I don't know. I just gonna win.
And with a win, this should catapult you into the top 10, right?
이거를 이기면 이제 너가 탑 10이 되는 거잖아. 그거 물어봤는데.
Of course.
See, you got sneaky good English when it matters. Thank you very much, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Hello, sir. In your UFC victories, you alternate between knockouts and submission. I mean, your debut was submission, then it was knockout. Your last fight was submission. So should we expect a knockout from you now?
내가 뭐 서미션 낙아웃 계속 이겼는데 이번에는 또 피니시를 시킬 건지.
Yes, knockout.
Which round?
몇 라운드?
2 or 3?
Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tatsuro, just a couple days outside of a few days away from your fight. How are you feeling, and how was your preparation for this fight camp?
試合残り数日となりましたが、今の気持ちと、ここまでの準備、ファイトキャンプとぜひ振り返って教えてください。
本当8月2日の今週末の戦いに向けて、すごくいいファイトキャンプが詰めて、いよいよあと2日3日か、本当に準備満タンという感じです。
Yeah, we had a great fight camp towards this fight. 2 or actually 3 days ago, 3 days to go. I'm ready. I'm excited and ready.
How much of that preparation goes out the window when you have a short notice change of opponents, or does most of that still relevant because you were preparing yourself and preparing your body for fight?
直前で変更と対戦相手変更となりましたが、そのファイトキャンプで準備してきたことが、どのぐらい影響があるというか、変わってしまったなという感覚なのか、それとも、試合に向けてどんな相手でも準備をしてきたから大丈夫だという気持ちなのか、そのあたりを教えてください。
こうやって直前で対戦相手の変更がありましたけど、本当に僕自身の力と、本当にチームを信じて試合に挑むだけかなって思ってます。対戦相手が、誰でも本当いろんな選手とトレーニングしてきたので、誰が相手でも大丈夫っていう自信があります。
Yeah, obviously the opponent changed at short notice, last minute. But I've been preparing very well together with my team. My team has been very supportive. And I've been working on my strength to get stronger and get better. I train with a lot of fighters from my team, so I was actually prepared to fight anyone and ready for this fight.
When you say working on your strength, you're talking about strength and conditioning, and is that something that you normally do a lot of, or is that something that you're starting to do more as you've progressed in your career?
特にコンディショニングとか、ポイントとしてここを、トレーニングしていこうと、特に気にしてたところとかありますか？
前回ロイバル戦で5分5ラウンドの厳しさだったりストライキングの部分で負けてしまったので、そこの自分の、ストライキングの強化だったり、もっともっと MMA ファイターとして成長して帰ってこれたかなって思ってます。
Yeah, the last fight against Rival, 5-minute, 5-round, the fight that definitely made me realize I need to get better on conditioning and, of course, more on striking side as well. So I think I'm back now, definitely as a better fighter.
That's great to hear. I was going to ask you if there was something that you took away from that fight that you could use as a positive, but is that the main thing that you realized, that you thought that your conditioning maybe was an issue, or what else did you take away from that loss?
前回のロイバル戦についてぜひ聞きたいなと思っていたので、ご回答ありがとうございます。今おっしゃっていただいたように、特に、コンディショニングとかストライキングみたいなところが一番の、学びであったということになるでしょうか。
そうですね、前回を振り返ってもコンディショニングだったりストライキングだったり、そういう部分っていうのは成長させてきたし、前回の試合っていうのはすごい多くのことを、彼から学ぶことができたので、今回パク選手に僕がそれをぶつけようかなっていうふうに思ってます。
Yes, conditioning and striking for sure. But not just that, I learned a lot from that fight and gaining experience as well. Now I'm fighting HyunSung Park, who's a younger opponent. So it's my turn to show the experience and what UFC fighters are.
And I saw an Instagram post that you said, when one door closes, another opens. Let's go have a fire. Are you more excited about this fight, or is that Albazi fight still a fight that you would hope to happen at some point?
ちょっと僕も分かんないんで聞きたいんですけど、インスタグラムの投稿で、ドアが一つ開いてまた次のドアが開いた、炎がついた、英語訳するとそうなってたと思うんですけど、それはアルバイ戦から変わっ てパク選手になってした思いだったのか、その前だったのか、その投稿についてぜひ教えてください。
そうですね、インスタグラムでポストしたように、アルバジ選手がこうやって直前で、アウトして、新しい選手が決まったということで、僕自身、また新しい、対戦相手に、燃えるようなものを感じたし、本当に8月2日、闘志あふれる姿を見せる準備ができてるっていう風でポストしました。
Yes, that post on Instagram. Definitely, the post was made when Pak came in. So yeah, Albaji was out. Now I have a new opponent, and I just felt like there's fire burning in my heart and getting ready for the new opponent, and happy that I'm still able to fight on this second day of August. That was what my feeling was behind on that post.
And like you mentioned, you have more experience in the fight, even though he's a few years older than you. Where is he dangerous, and what are you expecting to see from him in the cage on Saturday?
UFC の経験としてはもちろん、平選手の方が上ですが、相手の方が年齢としては上なのかなということですが、特に、UFC オクタゴンの中で得た経験で彼に勝っているというところはどこだと捉えていますか？
やっぱ彼の方が年齢が上で、格闘技歴で見たらそんな僕が先輩とかではないんですけど、UFC で、戦ってきた数っていうのは本当僕の力にそのままなってるっていうのを僕自身感じてて、その経験が今回の試合に対して現れるんじゃないかなっていうふうに思ってます。
True, he's actually older than me. So MMA experience-wise, probably same, not so much different. But obviously, in terms of experience in the UFC, number of fights, I have a lot more. And each fight have gained me a lot of experience and learning. So I think that's something that I can show him. And also that difference in the experience, it would be something that you would see in the octagon for this fight.
And speaking of experience, I think this is your third time headlining UFC Apex cards. Is this still special? I mean, I'm sure you want to fight down at T-Mobile, but is this still a big deal for you, headlining a UFC Apex card?
Apex でのメインイベントが3回目となりますけど、まだ特別なものですか？それとも本来はやっぱ T モバイル行きたいよっていう思いですか
？T モバイルアリーナで戦うっていうのはすごい、僕自身興奮する、要素でありますし、Apex のメインが3回連続っていうことで、ここでしっかり勝って、T モバイルアリーナとかでっかいアリーナで戦いたいなっていう気持ちもあります。
Obviously, fighting at T-Mobile or big arenas would be something that I'll be excited and looking forward to. But at the same time, I'm excited for this main event, as always. I'll hope to get this win and hope to get into a bigger venue like T-Mobile.
What's it going to take to get a fight back over in Japan?
日本での大会の可能性、日本での試合の可能性についてはどう捉えますか？
そうですね、日本で戦うっていうのは、本当僕の夢でもあるんで、できることなら来年日本で戦いたいです。
Fighting in Japan will be definitely one of my dreams that I want to make happen. I'll be very excited if I can fight in Japan next year.
Just a couple more quick ones. I think I also saw on your social media it was a picture of you and your family in Colorado doing some sightseeing. Is that the first time that your family's been here, or have they been able to come over and do some sightseeing around the states since you fought here a few times?
またSNS 投稿関連なんですけど、カロラドで観光をされている、あとご家族も一緒に観光されているような写真も見ましたけど、カロラドにご家族が来るのは今回が初めてですか、それともいつもこうやってサポートしてくれている感じですか？
まあ、コロラドに、お兄ちゃんとお母さんが来てて、サポートで来てて、今回が初めてってわけではなくて、コロラド、日本を出発してコロラドでも、僕が 100% でトレーニングできるようにサポートしてもらってて、そうですね、そういった感じで、コロラドでのトレーニングキャンプを、家族やチームメートに支えてもらって、ここまで来れました。
My brother and my mother was there in Colorado. It wasn't their first time. Actually, most of the time when I go into camp in Colorado, my family's there to support me so I can 100% focus on my fight. It's really my family, my teammates appreciate all the support that brought me here.
How proud is your family of you headlining another event? But I'm sure your mother's got to be very proud of your success in your career so far.
ご家族としてもきっと達郎選手の活躍が誇りかなと思いますけど、特にお母さんとか何か気持ちを伝えてくれたり、どんなふうに思っていると思いますか？
そうですね、家族の支えっていうのはすごく力になってるし、アメリカに来て、美味しい味噌汁が飲めるっていうのも幸せに感じてるし、試合が近づくと母の方が緊張するので、緊張するのは母に任せて、僕は思いっきりこの時間っていうのを楽しみたいなっていうふうに思ってます。
I always appreciate the support from my family. My family has really been a big part of my success so far. And even coming into the States, and I had my mom there making the same old miso soup for me. It's something very special. She actually is the one that gets nervous when the fight comes close. So I'll just give all the nervous to her, and I'll just be excited for the fight.
That's great to hear. Last question. Keys to the victory. What needs to happen on Saturday to make sure you get your arm raised in victory?
ぜひ勝利の鍵を教えてください。
本当にこの試合に向けて、前戦負けてから本当にいいトレーニング、いい時間っていうのを、作れてきましたし、そういった意味でも本当に、自分に自信を持って戦えば100% 勝てると思っているので、当日は、しっかり、パク選手を倒します。
I've been able to spend a very good time since my last fight. Good preparation so far. So I'm 100% confident that I can take this win. So I'll be focused and get the win from Park.
Arigato. Good luck on Saturday.
こんにちは。
こんにちは。
Your opponent was here and he's pretty sure that he will end this fight in the second or third round by knockout. So what you can respond to him?
That's what HyunSung Park said?
Yeah.
パク選手が2ラウンド、3ラウンドで絶対フィニッシュ取るという発言をされているそうですが、それに対してどうお答えしますか？
パク選手は僕みたいなレベルの選手と戦うのは初めてだと思うし、オクタゴンの中で、間違いだったと気づくのは1ラウンドかなって思ってます。
I would say this will be the first time Park will be fighting against a fighter at my level. Likely in the first round, he would understand that what he said was a mistake.
And quick one from me. Do you think that in the case of the win, you should be next to face the winner of the fight, Pantoja Van? Because, if we'll open ranking, Moreno just has his title fight. Kai Kara France had his title fight. Royval just lost. Amir Albazi pulled out of the fight, and the UFC doesn't like it. And next one is you.
この試合の勝利の後に、パントージャバンの勝者とタイトルマッチが待っていると思いますが、今ランキング見ながら1から順番に見ていっても、もうすでに戦った選手負けた選手というと、あなたが一番上にいるように思えるんですか？
まあはい、ジョシュア・バンとパントージャのタイトルマッチっていうのはまあ行われるのかなって思ってて、まあ、今回僕が、まあ、ランキング外ではありますけど、まあ、パク選手を倒してもう一人トップランカーを相手に、まあ、勝利してチャンピオンを指名したいと思ってます。
I believe that Pantoja Van fight will happen. For me, I'm thinking very focused for this win this week, and thinking maybe one more fight against a ranker. That win would bring me to the title fight, and I can call out Pantoja out.
Arigato. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Hi.
Well, hello there, Mateusz. How are you feeling?
Perfect. I feel really good. I cut weight, but still I have good shape.
Yeah. How was camp? You bring anybody in particularly for this particular fight?
I prepare in Miami with my teammate, like you know. It was really good. No injury, no something stupid shit. Only good preparation, really good shape I have right now, and good weather.
Yeah, weather helps as well. How? Well, I was going to say, if you're training down there, the weather here isn't too much different for you. You like the dry heat here in Las Vegas?
Yes, it's different. I feel it's a little bit too dry, but honestly, it's not that hard. You know, I live in Miami. It's really hot. Acclimatization, it's similar.
And you, speaking of training, you know, we were talking to you, Duncan, about how you guys have a history training together as well. Does that make it a little difficult, you know, to be able to fight somebody, you know, that you have experience in their training with? And at one point he mentioned that you wanted to fight him a ways ago, but then this fight eventually happened. Is this a fight that you thought would maybe happen? And is there any difficulty fighting somebody that you see in the gym?
Yes, for me it's difficult, but not that hard like everyone thought, because I never train with him. We live together. He lives behind my wall, and it's a funny situation because nobody in the world have that situation. You know, like. You have teammate and also opponent on place where you live, but I think it's hard for your mind, but still you can be better because you see how he train. It's like if you rest, your opponent go to training. You understand? And when I see when he go to training, running or something like this, I want to do more, a couple minutes more running, or go earlier sleep, and do more than him. it's motivation more. Stressful, of course, but I didn't want to fight with him because it's my teammate. But we are professional guy, and also we earn really big money. It's it's the most. It's not most important, but really important, and we take this fight.
Yeah. I know a lot of times when in the past we've heard of fighters, they don't think what they see in the gym is what translate into the octagon. But are you pretty confident in the things that you've seen him training, that you know what to prepare for and you know what his tendencies are inside the cage?
Yes, I know what he doing. Preparation with him on the same place. It doesn't matter. I feel better than him, and I think I can beat him. After this I feel really comfortable.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about him. Break down his skill set. I mean, what do you think about his striking? How's his ground game, and how would you rate him overall as a fighter?
Chris is dangerous guy. He have everything. Good ground, gilly, and of course, really hard kick. He really he have a powerful kicking, and this I must watch what he do. But of course, I think I have more skills than him, and that will be reason why I can win. Focus on the fight, watch what he do, and I think it can be done.
I know it's not fun fighting a trading partner or someone that you have experience with, but it's been almost 10 months since you fought. Has it been tough getting a fight, or has this been by design that you haven't fought in 10 months?
Yeah, it was difficult because I would like fight a little bit earlier, but when I pull out first one matchup, then you must wait. You must stand on the line and wait for your time, like UFC used to do. And of course, it's hard, but I right now have better shape because I do more wrestling, jiu-jitsu. I'm a better fighter than 10 months ago.
Yeah. And then last from me, your keys to the victory. What needs to happen to make sure that you get your arm raised on Saturday?
I think maybe good shape. I'm peaceful because I take really good preparation. If you a couple months train like a Sparta, then after you can show really good fight, bloody, like I always do.
And I'm sure with the 10 months off, your body's probably feeling pretty good. No injuries. Feel 100% going in there?
Nothing. I'm ready to go.
Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry.
Jak się masz?
Witam Ciebie.
Witam. Chciałbym zapytać o piosenkę, przy której zawsze wychodzisz do oktagonu. Ja lubię dżinsy. A czemu wybrałeś właśnie tę piosenkę? Bo zawsze pokazujesz brutalne i krwawe walki, ale wychodzisz przy wesołej muzyce.
Fajne pytanie. Czasem zdarza się, że ktoś się zada. Bo uważam, że w tym sporcie jest za dużo spiny. Za bardzo ludzie chcą, poważnie podchodzą do tego. Nie dość, że jesteśmy zestresowani wychodząc z tego oktagonu, to fajnie by było po prostu to trochę rozluźnić, wprowadzić trochę takiego show. I uważam, że to jest taka wizytówka Polski, no bo czy dobra, często jest to kojarzona ze złym stylem, ale disco polo jest takie typowo polskie i uważam, że to jest takie moje, indywidualne. Na co dzień lubię tego słuchać, ale to nie jest tak, że tylko to leci u mnie w telefonie albo ogólnie w domu. Więc uważam, że chciałbym troszeczkę zmienić podejście ludzi i żeby oni traktowali to jako sport, jako bycie profesjonalistą, który dookoła normalnie funkcjonuje, a nie bierze tego na poważnie. Na zasadzie nie ma złej krwi, trash talku, ani nic więcej, tylko tak jak teraz z moim kolegą klubowym, czysty sport i uważam, że spokojny, pewny siebie to powinien być zawodnik MMA.
Ale ma pan jakieś historie z tej piosenką o...
No, bardziej to bardzo jest chwytliwa. Historii może nie ma, ale wytłumaczę, czemu wychodzę przy niej, bo to jest tak chwytliwy, rytmiczny utwór, który od razu praktycznie zaczyna się od początku, więc workout jest dużo przyjemniejszy, ludzie zaczynają bawić się przy tym i też filozofia disco polo jest taka, żeby w ciągu jednego utworu móc się nauczyć tych słów i śpiewać. Oczywiście w Ameryce ktoś, kto nie mówi po polsku, nie nauczy się tego, ale jest to bardzo szybkie dla nas, dla Polaków i właśnie dlatego wychodzę przy takich utworach i przy tym głównie.
Dziękuję bardzo i dobrej walki.
Dziękuję bardzo.
E vamos trabalhar.
Elvis, just a few days away from your fight, how are you feeling? How was your fight camp coming into this about?
E alguns dias faltando para a tua luta, como é que você está se sentindo e como é que foi o camp para essa luta?
Cara, estou me sentindo muito bem, o camping foi perfeito, sem lesão, sem machucados. Estou empolgado para o sábado à noite, para falar a verdade.
Feeling great, camp was great, there was no injuries, no damage. Telling you the truth, I'm very excited about this one.
I know it's almost been about a year since you've fought. There was a fight scheduled with Zell Huber, and I think you had to pull out. I'm not quite sure what happened there. What happened with that fight, and why did that fight have to drop out?
Já faz basicamente quase um ano que a gente não te vê lutar e estava com uma luta marcada com o Daniel Zell Huber e aí não rolou aconteceu alguma coisa que você poderia compartilhar que daí não deu para rolar aquela luta? Tava uma luta marcada?
Cara, na verdade foi muito em cima da hora ali para viajar para o México e estava muito em cima. É uma cidade onde o ar puxa muito e a gente preferiu ficar em casa. Se fosse com 12 meses, 3 meses de antecedência, eu iria com toda certeza e amarradão.
Actually, because it was a very close call, we're talking about very close to the day, short notice, and having to go to Mexico City. We talk about altitude in a city that you have to go, and you have to it's a place that you really need to pull some air in there. If I had 2-3 months for that fight in Mexico, I would have taken it, but not there.
No, that makes a lot of sense. That would have been silly to go into an altitude fight, not being prepared for it. But has this time away been frustrating? I'm sure you want to get in there and been fighting. Has it been a little tough not fighting in almost a year?
E realmente faz sentido, porque por um lugar daquele na altitude fica um pouco complicado, não dá para se arriscar, seria um vacilo. E frustrou não ter lutado por algum tempo? Estava querendo lutar e não estava conseguindo? Como é que foi?
Cara, na verdade eu tirei um tempo para mim, continuei treinando forte, continuei evoluindo. Eu tô um ano afastado do cage, mas eu tô um ano treinando direto, todos os dias, entendeu? Eu não lembro qual foi o último dia que eu fiquei sem treinar, então por isso que eu tô muito empolgado para mostrar essa minha nova versão sábado à noite.
Actually, I was able to take time for myself. Am I almost a year away from the cage? Yes, but not training. I'll tell you what, I cannot remember the last day that I did not train, so I'm very excited to actually show you this new version and what this training has led to.
I'm excited to see that. I know the last couple times we saw you, the fights didn't go your way, but did that add any extra pressure into this fight? You know, do you feel like you need to go out there and you have to get a win, or do you not really worry about those last two fights because they've been so long ago?
E ele está empolgado também para ver você agora depois desse tempo. E como é que foi? Porque assim, quando os resultados não vêm, você acha que você tem um pouco de pressão em cima, ou você olha para trás e fala assim, já faz tanto tempo que as coisas não funcionaram, ou seja, bota no passado e vai para frente?
Irmão, na verdade, o que passou, passou, não posso voltar. O que eu posso controlar é daqui para frente. E eu procurei controlar o daqui para frente da melhor maneira possível, entendeu? Então, estou satisfeito com isso. Tudo que aconteceu já passou bônus, já passou derrota, já passou vitória. Amanhã é outro dia.
Actually, what past is in the past, and the only thing that you can control is whatever you actually do in the future, and that's where I'm trying to focus and just looking at what can be done ahead, and now that I think everything is past. It's a bonus is in my past, and losses in my past, and not being able to fight in my past. So right now, you look at forward, and that's where you're focused on.
And even looking forward, I think a lot of people would think that, with 2 fights, maybe they're a little worried about their job. But here, the UFC's throwing you high up in the main card, so you got to feel pretty confident in the way that the UFC thinks that you are going to deliver a good fight on Saturday.
E muitas pessoas, você falou assim, com 2 derrotas, se sentiriam um pouco até pressionadas em relação à empregabilidade no UFC, mas assim, aqui está o UFC olhando para você, te metendo numa situação boa, colocando você numa situação que dá visibilidade. Você sente, ou seja, não tem pressão, porque você olha assim, não, os caras confiam em mim, eu tô tranquilo, tô puro.
Eu confio no meu trabalho, eu confio no trabalho da minha equipe. Eu amo lutar, na real, essa é a real. Eu amo lutar, eu amo treinar todos os dias. Tá aqui a minha pressão, sorrisão no rosto, alegre, feliz, com as pessoas que eu amo do meu lado. Então, acho que isso fala muito mais sobre o ser humano em geral, na verdade, né? Não é só a luta ali, aqueles 15 minutos que todo mundo vê, entendeu? Mas é o que está por trás. Então, tem muita coisa boa, estou feliz, estou alegre e estou pronto para entregar uma versão diferente, uma versão nova, uma versão mais agressiva, entendeu? Um cara contundente ali, um cara forte. Sábado à noite vocês vão ficar felizes com o que vocês vão ver.
Sorry. I trust my work. I trust my dedication. I trust what I can do, and I think that it show. You see, this is what face. This is the face that you see, the face of my whatever warrior it is. Now I'm happy. I love training. I'm ready for this fight. I'm actually ready with this opportunity, ready to deliver a fight that you're all going to like, a fight that makes everybody happy, someone that's going to be aggressive, someone's going to be pressing forward, someone's going to be very significant and forceful in his strikes, and I'm very ready for Saturday.
Awesome. Esteban, your thoughts on your opponent, and where is he dangerous, and what are you expecting from him on Saturday?
E o Esteban Ribovics, como você vê ele como um oponente? tem forças, tem fraquezas e como é que você vê a chave para a vitória no sábado?
Um cara duro, como todos que eu já lutei, mas eu me sinto melhor em cima, tenho a mão mais pesada, me sinto melhor no chão, tenho um wrestling melhor, tenho um jiu-jitsu melhor. Então, não vai ser eu que vou estar trancado com ele lá, é ele que vai estar trancado comigo lá dentro no sábado à noite. Então, tenho tudo para sábado à noite estar saindo com essa vitória nas costas. E, além disso, também, vocês conhecem meu coração, vocês conhecem o coração dele. Eu acho que o público vai ganhar com uma grande guerra ali, na verdade. Essa é a real. Uma grande guerra.
A tough opponent, just like every tough opponent I face, but it's, I think I got the heavier hand, so I can outstrike him. I think he's got good wrestling, but I can wrestle him better. I think if he goes down to the ground, it's going to be going down to the ground. And I think that people say, well, you're locked in that cage with him, and I think it's the opposite. He's locked in that cage with me, and I think everybody knows my heart. Everybody knows his heart, and I think what you can expect is a war. That's what people are in for.
Looking forward to it. And I'm sure if you get the win here, you're going to hope to fight again in this year. How many more times? At least one more time? And if you do get a chance to fight, where would you like to fight this year?
E imagino que depois de uma vitória aqui, você gostaria de lutar mais uma vez esse ano, talvez outra, 2 vezes até o final do ano. Você sai com uma vitória no sábado, onde é que você gostaria de lutar? Quando você gostaria de lutar de novo?
Cara, final do ano somente, novembro, dezembro ali, mais tardar. Porque, como eu falei, esse meu último ano foi muito puxado realmente ali, entendeu? Eu trabalhei muito duro, estava pronto a todo momento que aparecesse para mim. Só que não aparecia, entendeu? E eu preciso descansar um pouco após essa luta, preciso aproveitar um pouco a minha vitória, entendeu? Porque eu já vi várias vezes, eu já ganhei várias vezes na minha cabeça, já aconteceu. Mas novembro, dezembro, Michael Johnson, vamos lá. Michael Johnson ou Make Back Eurobai novamente. Estarei aí.
So, November, December. I just feel that it's been, again, I didn't fight, but it's been a very intense year. I put myself through a lot in the past year, and I was always ready for a fight. I was getting ready for a fight. The fight didn't come. So I think I need some rest after this fight. So, November, December against Michael Johnson, or maybe Rebecki again as a rematch. I'll be ready for that, but I need just take some time off and do one more fight at the end of the year.
I was going to say, I heard that Michael Johnson. I started getting a little excited about that one. So that's a fight that you definitely want to happen.
Ele escutou o nome do Michael Johnson e ficou empolgado. Então, essa luta que te agrada, lutar contra o Michael Johnson?
Me interessa muito, são da mesma academia os dois. Ele é um cara que está vindo de vitórias em cima de nomes novos também. Ele é um cara duro, antigo na organização, mas o meu poder é muito maior. Vocês vão ver sábado à noite.
It's a fight that interests me a lot. You're talking about somebody who comes from the same gym as well. I mean, he's been a long time in this organization. He's faced a lot coming off a win against some new talent. Yeah. And just an opportunity to show my true power. And you're going to see on Saturday. There's a lot coming on Saturday for you guys.
Can't wait to see. Good luck on Saturday.
Elvis right here. I just wanted to bring up something, outside the octagon. So I know there's a lot of time where you're able to find rest and do things for fun. I was looking at your social media, being able to take a swim here or there, and even like a year ago you were horseback riding. For you, are those things that you try to do continually so that you can stay fresh, but then also be relaxed when you go inside the octagon and perform well?
Just want to hear something. You mentioned swimming as well?
Yeah.
Take a swim. Ele só queria mencionar umas coisas. A gente obviamente vê as pessoas lutando e sabe o que elas fazem aqui, mas você, nas suas redes sociais, você vê você nadando, você também indo passear a cavalo. Então são coisas que você faz, obviamente, sem lutar. São coisas que te ajudam a desfocar um pouquinho e são coisas que você se diverte também, que te ajudam a se manter ativo com outras coisas além de lutar?
Com certeza, eu sou um ser humano também, né? Eu gosto de brincar. Quando eu vou para o Amazonas, eu gosto de brincar de pipa. Eu gosto de nadar, eu gosto de estar na fazenda, entendeu? Então eu gosto de fazer essas coisas diferentes, é o que me agrada muito, entendeu? Me deixa um pouco desligado da luta ali, mas no mesmo dia a gente faz um treino, faz 2 treinos, 3 treinos, quando estiver para fazer.
Yeah, I'm a person. He did mention before to one of Kenny's answers. There's much more to a person than the 15 minutes. So, when I go back home and I go up to the north of Brazil and Amazonas, I like fly a kite, just to enjoy the ranch a little bit. Again, he said swimming and just enjoying yourself a little bit. I mean, whatever you can get your mind off of stuff, I like to do. I just like to be active and do things, whatever. And also, then afterwards, get one training session done, and maybe two, or maybe three. So it doesn't matter. Like you just keep things alive. I'm a person.
I know when it comes to this being your profession and your job and everything, you have to be very intentional with what you do. Are things like that, more spontaneous, or is that kind of planned into, okay, we're going to have some fun today, we're going to go to the beach, we're going to go have fun and things like that?
Eu sei que quando você chega nesse nível aqui, no nível profissional que você está no UFC, você tem que ser bem intencional com as coisas que você faz, tem que sempre ter propósito nas coisas que você faz. Isso faz parte do teu planejamento, fazer umas coisas fora da luta, ou é uma coisa assim, não, hoje eu vou fazer o que me der na telha, mas não, você coloca, não, hoje nós vamos descansar, hoje eu vou fazer isso, depois eu vou treinar. Você é intencional nesse lazer?
Cara, eu sou intencional. Por exemplo, eu tenho todos os horários de treinos marcados. 11 da manhã, 5 da tarde, 3 da tarde são meus horários de treino todos os dias, de segunda a sexta.
11, 3 e 5.
11, 3 e 5. Toda de segunda a sexta e sábado e domingo, dois treinozinhos também ali para finalizar. Mas essas outras coisas eu vou encaixando em outros horários, entendeu? Às vezes para brincar um pouco, até para distrair um pouco, entendeu? Assistir um filme, pegar um cinema. Vamos viver um pouquinho também, né?
I'm very intentional what I do. I actually have 3 training times, 11 a.m., 3 p.m., and 5 p.m. every day, and a couple of training sessions over the weekends. But I try to squeeze anything in the middle of all those things. Maybe catch a movie, do something. Let's live a little, right?
Obrigado.
Aí, moleque. Okay? Thank you.
Tranquilo? Tá se vendo? Pronto.
Karol, just a few days away from fight. How was fight camp and how was your preparation coming into this bout?
Há poucos dias da luta, como é que foi o camp e a preparação para essa luta no sábado?
Bom, graças a Deus está chegando. Estou empolgada para lutar no sábado. Bom, treinei bastante. Me mudei para São Paulo, abri uma equipe junto com a Jéssica e a Denise. Tive bastante meninas me ajudando, então minha preparação foi muito boa e eu estou empolgada para mostrar isso no sábado.
Very happy, very excited. Can't wait to fight. And actually, a lot of good things happened. Moved to São Paulo and opened up a team with Jessica Andrade and Denise Gomes. And we had a lot of girls helping me out, so I'm very excited to show the work on Saturday.
Was that something that you were planning on doing for some time, and you just finally pulled the trigger, or was there a catalyst that made you do the move and the building of a new camp and gym?
E essa mudança para São Paulo e a abertura da nova academia com a Jéssica e com a Denise era uma coisa que já estava fermentando fazia um tempo, essa ideia já estava lá, ou uma coisa, teve alguma coisa, basicamente assim, algum evento, assim, depois disso, não, bora fazer isso aí?
Cara, depois que nós três saímos da nossa antiga equipe, a gente quis fazer uma coisa diferente, onde a gente pudesse ter nossa voz, assim, montar os nossos treinos, chamar pessoas para ajudar a gente. Então, em agosto, dia 23 de agosto, faz um ano que a gente está nessa nova etapa e a gente está gostando bastante, mas foi por a gente ter saído da nossa antiga equipe que a gente resolveu fazer isso, fazer um lugar onde só treinasse mulheres, onde a gente tivesse nossa voz para montar assim, o treino e chamar outras pessoas também para ajudar, ter mais liberdade.
Actually, when all three of us left our former team, we wanted to actually put that project in place, a place where we would have a voice, that we have a say, and we actually do and set up our own training. And that was pretty much the catalyst, a place that we could have just girls training and make sure that, again, we would have, control, we would have a voice, we could plan training in camp. So basically that was the catalyst. When all three of us actually have the same team, that had been brewing.
And I know often at the bigger gyms, you're one of a handful of fighters that is preparing for a fight, so it's often tough to kind of get all the work done to make sure that you are peaking at the right moment. So do you feel after this training camp that you're fighting better than perhaps you've fought in years because of the preparation?
E quando você está numa academia às vezes maior, assim, você acaba sendo um de vários. E agora você tem a oportunidade de ter controle sobre o teu treino, treinar mais focada. Você vê isso como uma vantagem e que agora você, com esse foco que vocês tiveram agora, podendo fazer esse trabalho específico, você se sente mais preparada, mais pronta para as lutas?
Cara, na minha antiga equipe, a gente era junto, assim, sabe? As meninas e tal, então eu não me sentia, sou só mais uma ali. Até que nós éramos unidas, assim. Mas agora eu consigo, como posso dizer, eu consigo, ver o que realmente, assim, é melhor para mim, o que eu gosto de fazer. Descobrir o que eu gosto de fazer e o que... não fazer por obrigação agora. Eu consigo ver o que é bom e fazer sem a obrigação. Antes eu era um pouco obrigada a fazer algumas coisas que eu não queria e hoje eu vejo o que eu quero fazer. E tem os professores também que eles agora entendem mais assim como trabalham com mulheres. A gente mudou um pouco a nossa metodologia. Agora a gente tem mais, não só eu, mas as outras meninas, de ver mais assim as mulheres como posso dizer, antes eu era pauleira todas as vezes, todos os dias. Hoje não, hoje a gente já tem mais um cuidado, não só comigo, mas com as outras meninas. Vou dar um exemplo de quando a gente fica naqueles dias. Hoje a Karol, a Denise e a Milena não tá boa para fazer tal tipo de treino, então elas não devem fazer. Antes não, antes era pauleira todos os dias. Então acho que essa que ficou a diferença.
I think, and she did mention that it's been like a year they actually started. Você falou 23 de agosto foi a data? So it's going to be a year now, on the 23rd of August, they've been doing this. We, back in the other team, we weren't just a number. We were pretty close, and we we were, we already felt like we were a part of something. But now, I think the change right now is that things are, now I understand what I like to do. I understand what my strengths and things that I can do to improve. And I think that there's not, I'm not saying that the other training was an obligation, but like right now I feel that like I like to get into that training because I'm going a way that I like towards my training. So it's been more focused and much more pleasant as well. And it's things of even like the masters and those who are there and training us and those who are training us in any capacity, there is much more attention to detail on training women now. A lot of focus. So I'll use an example. Again, very focused on, again, just having girls training there. Let's say, talk about that time of the month, right? So before, it was like all-out banger all the time. Like everybody's going to train no matter what. Now, if this is what I said, like now if me, Carol, I'm not having, I'm going through those days. Denise, Milena, like it's different right now. Let's take it easy a little bit and let's be more mindful of those things because before it was more like, okay, you're part of the training protocol here. You're going to do it. Right now, we're actually paying attention to all those things. So I think it's more focused, more pleasant, and more catered toward the women. That's what we've been able to accomplish there.
And it's good to hear you talking about enjoying the training. I found a post on your social media from 2024 where you talked about what it takes, the courage it takes to step into the octagon, and you said, I think it's crazy, but I love it. When we work with what we love, we do everything with love and joy. Sometimes it's not all roses, but the feeling of getting in there. Do you still have that same passion? Do you love what you're doing right now, maybe more so than ever?
Ele mencionou que fica feliz, que você falou que está feliz treinando, que você achou coisas que você gosta, que você agora faz porque você está feliz. Ele encontrou um post do teu Instagram, acho que 2024, que você menciona que quando você faz aquilo que você ama, você faz com prazer. E eu sei que às vezes não são só rosas, mas e ter muita coragem necessária para você subir no octógono, mas você... Às vezes as coisas não saem como você quer, mas você sempre se diverte, você gosta do que você está fazendo. Você continua com esse sentimento de gostar do que você está fazendo e talvez até mais do que nunca teve prazer em fazer o que você faz?
Ah, com certeza. A Denise sempre fala isso para mim, que a gente tem que estar feliz, que tem que gostar do que faz. E depois que eu conheci ela, eu passei a levar isso para mim. E estou muito feliz. A minha última luta, eu não me apresentei muito bem, já estava com a minha equipe nova, a Gaia, mas foi um turbilhão de coisas. Eu estava bem, mas psicologicamente eu não estava me sentindo bem, então isso pesou um pouco. E hoje eu posso dizer que eu estou 100%, estou com muita vontade de vencer e estou feliz, que é o que mais importa. Então, sábado eu vou estar... Já estou feliz essa semana, que normalmente é uma semana triste, né, de perca de peso, mas eu estou bem feliz essa semana e sábado eu vou estar ainda mais e pode ter certeza que essa felicidade vai trazer um show para a galera.
So ever since I met Denise, she always mentioned to me that, you have to be happy. If you're happy doing what you're doing, you're going to do much better, and that's the happy attitude that you need to bring. And I've always taken that to heart. Just be happy in what you do. And I've changed my attitude, and I started seeing that, and I think I am feeling happy right now. It's like I understand that in my last fight there was just a lot of turmoil. I was already with the new team guy, but there were just so much going on, and I don't think I was just. There was a lot on my mind that I don't think I was in a good place mentally, but I do feel that right now. I can tell you right now, I'm very happy this week, and this is not the good moment. This is a sad moment that we're actually cutting weight, and I'm already feeling it. When I'm happy to perform, and I'll put on it. You will see on Saturday the happiness and what the happiness brings as far as performance to put on a show for the people.
Yeah, it's funny. I was going to ask, what's your favorite part of fight week? So obviously the weight cut is not your favorite part, but what other sort of stuff do you enjoy about the fight week?
Ele ia perguntar qual é a tua parte favorita da semana de luta. Obviamente, o corte de peso não é uma parte favorita de ninguém. Mas qual que é a tua parte favorita de estar aqui na semana da luta?
Cara, a minha parte preferida, eu fico contando os dias, quando chega na terça, que eu recebo as comidinhas do PI. Cara, eles mandam um cheesecake muito bom, que é um doce muito gostoso. E, nossa, essa é a melhor parte, tipo, as comidinhas do PI. E por incrível que pareça, eu fico querendo já que chega na quinta, porque tipo, o pior dia, mas também para mim é o melhor, que é onde vou me livrar. Então, é um pior para alguns, mas para mim é bom porque já vai ser o último e na sexta eu já estou feliz. Mas a semana mesmo é as comidinhas do PI.
Shout out to the PI chef. Compliments. I love the PI food. I'll tell you what, the best part of the week is Tuesday when we get the little snackies and the food from the PI. They have like a cheesecake there that's such a nice little sweet that I like. It's a great sweet treat, and I love that thing. So just I'll tell you what, the food from the PI is like the best. Also Thursday, I wanted that moment to come. I want that day to arrive. I know it's just the hardest part, but I want to get it out of the way. Because after that, it's like, let's get this thing out of the way and let's move on to things. But I'll tell you, the best part on Tuesday is that the snackies and the little food from the PI, because that sweet treat from the cheesecake, I really like it.
Oh, who doesn't love a good cheesecake? I guess let me just get you to talk about Nora. Where is she dangerous? What are you expecting to see in there on Saturday? And what sort of things are you prepared for her in there?
E vamos falar um pouco da Nora. Onde é que ela é perigosa? Onde é que você pode ganhar? O que você vê no sábado como luta?
Cara, ela tem um estilo que eu gosto de lutar. Ela é agressiva, assim, na parte de trocação, vem do Muay Thai. Ela me oferece esse risco, acho, na parte em pé. Mas eu me vejo, assim, não subestimo ninguém, mas eu me vejo superior a ela na parte de chão, até mesmo na parte da trocação, assim, que eu vejo que eu sou superior a ela. Então, acho que o perigo que ela me traz é essa parte em pé, como toda luta, se entrar uma mão, assim, né? Mas eu treinei bastante, eu estou preparada para a parte em pé dela. Até se ela quiser me colocar para baixo, também estou preparada. Mas eu me vejo completa nesse nível, assim, a mais que ela, tanto na parte de chão quanto mais inteligente na parte em pé.
I think that she's got a style that I like to fight. I know that she's like her striking, so she wants to come into Muay Thai, and I just do believe that I have the strength there as well. I think it's the way that I strike, the way that the smart striking happens for me, and I think I have I'm a smarter striker. That's how I feel against her, and also, and I feel more and more polished on the ground. So I think that's pretty much it. Like I see myself as the smarter striker and someone that can get her on the ground if she decides to take me down.
Last time we saw her in there, she had an issue making weight. Is there any thoughts or preparation that if that does come and then she misses weight, will you guys be taking the fight no matter what?
E a última vez que a gente viu ela em Miami, ela teve uma dificuldade para bater o peso. Se ela tiver uma dificuldade para bater o peso novamente, já é um consenso da equipe que vai ter luta mesmo, ou se ela não bater, a equipe pensa um pouco se realmente vai adiante?
Não, por mim, ela pode bater até 5 quilos, 10 quilos acima que a gente luta. A comissão não deixa, mas a gente sim, a gente está preparada. Se ela bater ou não, vai ter luta, isso independente.
As far as we're concerned, if she's 10 pounds, 20 pounds over, there's going to be a fight. I don't care. I mean, the commission's not going to let her fight, but I'll tell you, like, as far as we were concerned, she can. If she doesn't make weight, we're indifferent about it.
Awesome. Keys to the victory. What needs to happen on Saturday to make sure that you get your arm raised in victory?
Chaves para a vitória. O que precisa acontecer no sábado para você ter o teu braço levantado?
Cara, eu me vejo, todo mundo, né, não só eu, mas finalizando, nocauteando. Também me vejo finalizando. Quem sabe no sábado pode ser minha primeira finalização, mas também eu estou preparada para fazer 3 rounds dignos de luta da noite.
Listen, not just myself, but everybody sees it. We see this as a finish. It may be a submission or a knockout. Maybe this would be the opportunity for get my first submission. But that's how we see it. We see it as the opportunity to finish the fight with a knockout or the submission. Or even, listen, if we need to go through rounds, we will go through rounds for a fight of the night.
A submission would be pretty cool to get your first UFC submission. I had to go back through your record. I was surprised that I didn't see one because you've had them, but just not in the UFC.
E seria legal ter uma finalização porque seria a tua primeira, mas olhando para trás, você já teve outras, mas não no UFC.
Sim, já tive outras finalizações, tive nocautes também, mas dentro do UFC eu não tive a oportunidade, então quem sabe no sábado pode ser a primeira.
Yeah, and I've had submissions, I've had knockouts as well, obviously, but not the submissions in the UFC, but maybe on Saturday you see the first.
Good luck on Saturday.
All good.